Welcome to Babylon 5.
Zappos knew you would come.
I think I'll stick my head in the station's fusion plant, but
You've lost much, endured much, sacrificed greatly.
Life's full of mysteries. Consider this one of them.
We are in the process of building the future.
Rangers never run.
If you go to Zahadu, you will die.
From beyond the grave, the talking wallpaper has come back from... Oh, shit, let the overlay up. What the fuck? Hey, we're back, and guess what? I'm too lazy to bring them up one by one and do introductions because, you know, fuck, I'm lazy. And we have Kate, Monkey, and, of course, Keith, who actually almost made it on time. Adega sadly will not be joining us today because real-life stuff always comes first. And with everything going on, we are in Season 3. Hello, Kate. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm breathing. Monkey Jeebus, how are you?
Like usual.
Don't DM me anymore in the morning. I hate you. And Keith, hello, sir. It's glad to have you back. How are you doing?
It's great when my internet decides to allow me to get online.
All right. Well, the internet sucks. And with that, let's address the chat. We have Jester of Sin. Thank God he's not the Shin no more. Thank you for being a member. Welcome. We have Archer Colin. Evening and good morning and good night, depending on where you are. Snortapoopus Cuber says, hello, humans and other critters. Well, hello to you, too. We also have Mr. Tickletrunk, not only a member, but smashing my like button faster than I eat cake. How are you doing, sir? Thank you for being here. And we have Man Squatch who's saying, hey, all, I can be here for a live for a change. Well, thank you for showing up. I appreciate whether you're here live or as a repeat. I sound a little slurry today. It's kind of funny. It must be Canadian Monday. Yeah, it is. And with that, Zax, there's a DM in the chat, also a member and a mod. Thank you for being here. And with that, hello, Stream Elements. Go fuck yourself. And with that, Season 3, Episode 3 and 4. Good episodes. Kind of crazy episodes.
Mm-hmm.
How about that local sports team?
Basically.
Pretty much. How you guys doing? Let's get into that shit. Who wants to go first? Because we're starting with a day in the strife. I like that. I like that. It's like a day in the life, but it's a play on the words. Day in the strife. Fucking love that shit.
Well, you know what? I'll go ahead and start.
Oh, well, please.
This is a really good episode. And again, like a lot of Babylon 5 episodes, at least this season, you're gonna start seeing certain characters again. And it's the return of Talon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, geez.
For those that don't know, this is a Narn. This is a specific Narn.
Yes, a very specific Narn. Very, very identifiable because he's the only one with a sword.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I do like this character a lot. He very, very cool character. Basically, say what?
He's kind of like a samurai in a way.
In a way, yeah.
But he was also trapped on that. Was it the Strix?
Yeah.
The Strix ship. And that was the Narn that we're also having a flashback to. Brightest Day, thank you for remember, has also popped in the chat. It is not yelling Fats. Nice to see you,
sir. Played by Marshall Teague. And basically, this is one of those characters, one of the great things about Babylon 5, one of those characters that you meet one time, he makes an impression, and then it turns out, you'll see him again, like many other characters.
Sorry, Stripe. Thank you for correcting my Canadian English. Thank you, Tickle. Sorry about that, Keith. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. But what is ahead for this character is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
This character's story arc is going to not be as You're not going to see him in as many episodes as you'd like, but it is going to be a very interesting character arc.
He's also very loyal because I love the way Sheridan's face is when he first sees him, and we don't even get to see him first. This is literally like a little bit after the whole introduction of the episode, where we're seeing what was it? It's the transit committee, not the transit committee, but the transit faction. What's the word? What are the words for the different sectors in the Babylon? We have the engineering and the transit.
So it's like the receiving board. Meeting.
Yeah, the transit board. And he's like, I would rather be dead right now. You got one guy who's a sitting there with that fantastic mustache holding a lead pipe going, you got the guns. You want to limit the guns. I'm like, no, we want to limit anything going wrong here.
Yeah, it's definitely illustrates the frustration of many of the people that own a lot of the ships that come in and out of Babylon 5. And things are starting to get a little tense. Oh yeah, tense is the word. It starts out with Sheridan and Ivanova holding a meeting with the Transport Pilots Association, and you have a lot of people that are just very upset because things are taking longer. And Ivanova is able to explain, "Hey, look, we have to do this. If you want to take a shorter time, it's going to basically cause us to." We can increase the number of people that are doing the check, but it's going to raise your docking fees.
Or it's going to increase the time by 10 to 15% if we don't do the fees. So either way, it's like a double-edged sword at this point. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
And so, you got one particular person that decides to speak up, and it's a particular actor who I like to call Sean Connery stand-in. Right?
Yeah.
And he has a very tense discussion with Captain Sheridan after calling him out specifically. So Sheridan does the only thing that he can do in that particular situation. He has to answer the call and makes his way down there and shows the guy up in a very interesting way.
Or he just calls his bluff. So
it really does call his bluff. Whoa. My bad. Sorry about that.
And meanwhile, you see you have the meeting between Nafar with Captain Sheridan about Citizen Jakar. There is a new government that has been put in place by the Centauri, and Nafar is a representative of that new government put in place by the Centauri. Can you say puppet?
It's pretty much the bread. It's pretty much a breadcrumb government. We'll give you a little leeway, like the ability to breathe, walk to the bathroom, and not piss us off. Otherwise, for every one Centauri you kill, we kill about 6. Yeah,
500.
Well.
So they have the mushy milquetoast bureaucrats and Narn trying to convince Jakar that he's being too assertive with his cause.
That's a word. That's a word.
Yeah.
Assertive.
And who's eating candy? They could better be.
Yeah,
sure.
who's literally fighting with a Snickers right now? Who is that?
I'd love to be messing with Snickers right now. Who's doing it?
Jeebus, is that you again?
No.
Candy bars. I wasn't right.
It wasn't you?
No.
Then it's Keith. Nice
Oh,
play.
geez, really?
Yeah, come on, man.
Here, hold on.
Okay, I'm not even touching a wrapper, and I was hearing candy being wrestled around with. Like, come on.
Or
Who was
papers, anyway. Yeah. It's okay. I just said candy because it's funny. But it's interesting because you have Jakar squaring off with the milquetoast puppet guy and his buddy right behind him, like his, I don't know, I think you learn later on or have already been that they are close friends. So he's given Jakar a look the whole time, like, dude, just be polite. Come on, just do a little bit here. But he doesn't back down because it's Jakar.
Well, I mean, it comes down to Jakar has to go back and surrender for everything to be nice and hokey-dory.
Yeah.
So it's a big decision time for Jakar.
Mhm.
And basically, Nafar, who really is spineless,
Yeah. Like he's totally just, I'm going to do this because I don't know what else to do, so I'll do what I'm told. It's like, dude, that is awful. Oh my god, Jesus, are you okay?
Shut up.
Okay, all right. I'm good right now. This stream is brought to you by Not Dying with Crisco Core Gaming. Can you refrain from dying with your mic on? I don't want to be an alibi. I don't want to fill out witness reports. I don't even want to be near your coffin.
Yeah.
But I love the people that come on this panel. Monkey, please don't get me killed. Other than that, yeah. The brilliance.
It's cool. Sorry.
Oh my god.
My mic died.
Yeah, I can hear that. It's really loud.
Yeah, you're really loud.
But I wanted to say one thing. Sheridan was brilliant in this, and he even played in front of us so perfectly. He literally removed what you call the chamber of bullets. He took it out.
Yeah, the
while
charge.
Pocketing it. Yeah, he took it
the
out.
charge thing. He's as she like, oh my god, how did you do that? We're like, why would you could die? Blah blah blah. And he's like, I found the charge. It's fine. What, do you want my job already?
Yeah, you really want my job. You really want to move up in the world. I'm like,
I love their banter. It's such a perfect sibling. They're not actual siblings, but they have a great sibling dynamic.
Well, they served before on the Agamemnon, didn't they? That's why they have their history.
No, they served at a different posting at.
Oh shit!
Yeah, not for very long, but long enough to have a good rivalry,
rapport.
if you will.
Yeah,
rapport. Yep, and
I'll
dynamic.
have it all fixed by next week. Okay, Monkey, you better, because if
It's
you sneeze and my internet goes out to Manitoba, there's a problem.
Jeez.
That's you. Where'd Steven go? Oh, he's out there on the West Coast now, just dealing with no Vancouver crackheads.
Oh my god. Well, I mean,
Wanna
Jesus
buy
is
some
closer to
breakfast?
them than you, so
I don't know. I love you guys. That was great.
technically, California. That's
Oh,
closer.
you're right. Both of them were at IO. My bad. Thank you for that,
okay.
Sheridan.
Thank you, Ticket Truck.
Take your pants off.
Ew.
I don't know. Put them back on now. I take them off. Simon didn't say.
Oh,
What the hell is wrong with you? Sneezing's a problem, but
It's been a long day, and you know we didn't get to sleep till like 3 o'clock in the morning, so I'm trying to balance out.
Okay, fine.
Wow.
Hi, Keith.
Yeah.
How are you?
Party hard, y'all.
Well, I'm all right. I'm still trying to ride the wave after having worked all night. So,
Tickle Trunk says he puts his pants back on. Oh, you don't have to take them off ever again. You can just duct tape them, so we can just yank them.
anyway, Garibaldi and Franklin are hanging out at Earhart's, and basically, Garibaldi is being Garibaldi, and Franklin looks half beyond dead tired, having worked 20-hour shift, and basically,
it's a compulsive addict reaching out to another addict who's seeing clear signs, but he's doing it in such a way as from a friend. And this is where it goes back to the evolution of their friendship and their type of grumpier old men style that is going to be cleared on later on in episodes and seasons. I'm sorry, Keith. I see this and I'm like right away, like that face. I don't know how I got stuck on that, but it's like he's like, "You like my duck lips, Franklin? Stop doing stims."
No, it's more like really, you're not going to listen to me, really.
Well, he called him out. He called him out though because Franklin was like not just working overtime; he was actually taking on extra shifts that he didn't even need to. And then he's like, he gives the whole excuse. Well, I'm a doctor. You could just stims in the normal fashion. Who cares if I beat up grandma to pay for him? I can still do the normal fashion. I'm not addicted. Where's my wallet?
No. He is diplomatic. Franklin's diplomatic in what he's saying because it's legal. I'm a doctor. They're prescribable. So he's prescribing himself these and at whatever dose he wants, which that brings a problem because it's different when it's something you can do legally
Yeah.
for a boost, and then it becomes a problem.
I kind of agree, but there was also that point where you realize that maybe you do have a problem, where he even caught himself, where he's like, well, have you ever found a meta bottle you haven't fucking ignored? I'm like, oh, shit, shots fired. Someone take out. Yeah.
Well, I have to at least give Garibaldi credit, because he tried to do it over dinner.
Yeah, he grabbed him with food.
You know, it's a personal conversation rather than, you know, where this is the first time we see them in the episode, and this is at the restaurant. Right. Where Garibaldi realizes or begins to suspect that Steven has a problem. And so inviting him over to his quarters to serve dinner, and it's just the two of them. He tries to handle it in a way without making it embarrassing, and keeping it between the two of them.
Because he's scared. Yeah, and he straight up says, I'm doing this because I am your friend, not because I want there to be a problem or be a problem. I'm concerned. He's making an effort.
Yeah, and this is what we call, for those really young people that are listening to us right now, this is called tact. This is what we call tact.
Like when you mute your mic before you sneeze. Oh, sorry, mic was still on. I meant to say that. Well, I'm just fucking with you, Punky. Come on, you've been here long enough to know I'm going to do that shit. Like, any time in the moment, Steven needs to shut up. Doesn't.
Anyway, we also have a situation where Nafar reports to Londo's quarters. Now, see, this is what we call, kids, a dick move. Okay. Londo decides to question Nafar about how things are going on the planet. And basically, it's basically meant to embarrass the man, and Vera picks up on it.
Oh god! Like, this is an embarrassing moment for Londo, especially when we're seeing like other episodes where we're seeing glimpses of his insecurity of his choices and how his road traveled is becoming more and more filled with the blood of the people involved. And you see him act like this insensitive fucking prick. And I'm going to say this, fucking prick. Because he goes out of his way to, like, I got to destroy their pride as a people. I'm like, no.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's something that you've seen in history a lot. Anytime you have people that are being oppressed, those who are oppressing them, that's one of the things that they aim at. You know? Again, this is one of those moments, you know, those moments that Londo has to save himself and to listen to Veer, you know, who correctly tries to tactfully, after Nafar has left, you know, call him out. And what Londo has to say about that pretty much shows where he is.
Can I ask a question with this, though? Do you think that Londo was under the influence of alcohol and that's why he's fucking just not getting a grasp? Or do you think that the way their communication and their whole relationship, Veer and Londo in general, is because Veer is the same as Londo, but very opposite when it comes to nature and delivery of how to handle aspects, cultures, and politics, while Londo is just a drunk wagging his numerous dicks out while trying to maintain power?
I don't believe Londo is drunk, though. A lot of the things that have happened over the last few months to him, I don't think he's drinking I mean, that's my whole thing with the character of Londo and what ends up happening to him, and then ultimately his ultimate fate, which is during this particular time, he's not really getting drunk like he used to when you saw him in the first season. He's not partying as much because people aren't really talking to him. He's becoming more and more isolated. And as he becomes more isolated, even though he does occasionally have a drink, he's not drunk. He realizes that he needs to, you know, the road that he is walking, he is doing it eyes open. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I don't think he really thinks he has anywhere else to go and any other direction to take other than the direction that he's going.
But that's the thing that bothers me with that whole context. If we're going back to last week and talked about the last 2 episodes, especially the one where they're being questions about seeing if they've seen this ship before, if they've seen the design, and he starts talking about his dream, the reality of things that he is seeing in his dream, it's like he's having a realization not only that it's maybe more than a dream, that it's actually something of a not predicament, but a prediction. And then you see him like, fuck this shit, I want waffles. It's like he totally disregards it unless it's actually in front of his face, and that's when he starts accepting it.
That's because he's headed down a dark path, and a lot of these decisions he's making himself, eyes open. I think the thing is, it would have been easy to write him as a drunk, but what makes it worse is the fact that he's not drinking.
He has tunnel vision. That's what it is.
I think he's trying to ignore that he doesn't want to believe it's going to happen, too.
Well, some of it is that, but some of it also is the realization that I think he thinks he's trapped. Yeah. After everything that has happened up to this point, from his point of view, he has come too far and has already a lot of blood on his hands. And he believes he can't go back to the way things were. The only way forward is what's ahead of him. And Veer continues to try to remind him there are options. There are ways that you can get off of this path.
Sits with the impression that he can only do what he was made to do, and this is what he thinks he was made to do.
That's right.
So that makes for some very unpleasant tunnel vision, and which, you know, it like you said, it'd be easy to make him a drunk, and that's how a lot of things will interpret that because it's easily comprehended. Woo! But then it's like, you have to keep in mind that he was raised to be a politician. At the end of the day, no matter what he's choosing, that is his core, is he was raised to be a politician.
And he's not drunk? What is this? What is this right here? Like,
I agree. He could be. Well, I agree to some degree that he is.
Well, he's drinking in that scene, but you got to remember what happened just before this portion of the scene, which is the whole thing with Nafar. That's not a drunk man saying those things. You know, that is a man who is fully aware of what
drunk
he's
with
saying.
power.
See, I have a question though with this though. This is a debate for the chat: 1 for yes, 2 for no. Sorry, one for weed and 1 for drinking. Do you think Londo would be a better pothead or an alcoholic?
Oh, he'd be a better alcoholic. He'd be a better pothead. He'd be fun stoned.
He'd be a great pothead because he'd be like, "Why is my hair so fucked up?"
No, it'd just be like, dude. All he'd do is talk about food all the time. That's what he would do. Because he talks about how much he loves XYZ things in some episodes, and it's like, cool, we never see it, though.
I think he would be a perfect star in Dude, Where's My Vorlon?
You know what? Here's the unfortunate thing with Londo, and I can at least get to this. The reason why he's not drunk is that it is also part of the story arc.
Yep.
Once Londo gets drunk again on the show, his fate is sealed. There are very bad connotations with him getting drunk the way that he used to again. And there'll be a reason for that. Okay? But this version of Londo is still a version that there is still an opportunity to make amends. And that's where Veer is coming from. You know, he is kind of he's Londo's Jiminy Cricket conscious. And he's trying to show him that there is another way. And you have someone that has already lost a lot. One of his closest friends. And all of this has cost him. He has paid a price to come to where he is right now. And he just thinks that there is no other way but the way in front of him.
Quickly, I want to poke out Tekken and Blade, and I do agree with you, Keith. It's actually very brilliant what you're saying. Londo, the teenagers, would be fun to watch. Honestly, I think that guy would be running around with a magnifying glass and like a bag of like Centauri weed. Like, who wants power?
No,
Absolute power.
He would be drunk all the time. He would like party hardy drunk all the time, and it would be like, if you haven't seen Versailles, the show, he would pretty much be the Chevalier.
Now, I have a second question. This is actually for you, Kate. Now, I really want to add this. Now, looking at those things that I guess are supposed to be candles, or whatever, you notice like the little cylindrical things. Those honestly look like those plastic squeeze bottles you get from the dollar store for ketchup and mustard, and they just put gold plating on top of it.
You mean their idol, the god/idol
There's
things?
there's two things at the bottom with
on the
right at the
counter.
table. You seen that right there?
Those might be Christmas decorations, actually. They might actually be
shit.
candles. But I see your point. That is a good question.
Mustard and relish. Hail, Tim Possible. Thank you for being here as well. I saw some other names in the chat. We got Techman Blade. Hello, I didn't greet you yet. Hello. And Zach says Pothead. I like you, Zach. You're good. You're good people.
Anyway, this conversation, like many others, you know, is Londo on one side, Veer on the other, trying very hard to basically save Londo and his soul. You know, yes, exactly. But it also gets Londo to thinking that maybe the time has come, and so he goes to visit. Excuse me.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Anyway, Londo goes to visit Delenn, and basically wanting to allow Veer, or get Delenn to allow Veer to go and become the Centauri representative on Nard.
I think he's doing
on
brilliantly,
Minbar, sorry. On Minbar.
I think he's doing that brilliantly. He wants to have Veer out of the way because I think he's not tired of Veer's judgment or being the positively conscience that's on his shoulder, but I think he wants Veer to realize that there's more than just sticking with him. He doesn't want to be attached to whatever dark road or road he's going down on, and I think that's his subconscious care for him.
Well, yeah, he does.
Because I think he thinks of not as a son, but as a brother, and I think
he cares.
is family.
But now that Mr. Morden has taken root on their home planet, I really do think that Londo believes there are some incredibly dark times ahead, and he does not want Veer to be anywhere near that. Veer represents a more a younger, purer version of himself, and he wants to protect that as much as possible.
He does say that too.
Hold up quickly. Kate makes a great point. Tim, if you can get all of your hair to stand up, please do it, and then shave the rest of it. Like see how it's right there? Boy. If you can do that for us, you can be Kylo Centauri. Well, like Londo Ren, right there.
You don't have to shave anything. You just kind
of shave it.
No.
Yeah.
It's young, so he has a full head of hair, so just most of it.
Just get a bald cap and a dream to live. Just I want to be a Swiffer. I got dreams. I want to be a Swiffer. I want to get in those cracks. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
A Swiffer. I do agree, though, that his intention of having Veer do essentially an apprenticeship is to make sure that he has different experiences because they are so similar. But his Veer's I don't know. He's not naive. He's just more.
Down to earth.
He's more down to earth. He has
down to Centauri. My bad.
Down more grounded, and has not had the same malicious, perhaps, conditioning that Londo did at the same age.
Mm-hmm. Archer Collin quickly says, "I think he genuinely cares for Veer and wants him out of the way for what is to come." Yeah, I agree. And even that will have consequences. I don't think so. Because even if we've seen Veer at his most devilish and was waving his finger, I want to see a head up on a pike. I don't give no fuck.
I love that, but that's not devilish. That is genius.
And Tim is actually considering shaving his head and looking like a Centauri. I have hope for you, sir. We'll have you on.
Veer doesn't have a shaved head. You don't have to do that. You just need Elmer's
Come
glue
on, man.
and Aquanet. It'll be great. Let's do that.
Aqua Velva and a razor.
Here's the thing, though. Veer, in those particular instances, for him, it's about right and wrong. Uh-huh. Okay? He doesn't see things. I mean, he's understanding that in life there is gray. Mm-hmm. But he's still at a point where, there is the right thing to do and there's the wrong thing to do. And I think he's trying to get Londo to understand what that is. not really realizing that Londo definitely knows right from wrong. You know, he can't. I think Londo realizes that for what is to come next, he would rather not have Veer there, because things are going to get dark. For what they are going to have to do in order to break the Narn and to do what they have to do, because they're going to make. I think in his mind, he understands now that Mr. Morden has ingratiated himself with pretty much his quote unquote superiors, that things are going to get much darker before they get better.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want Veer anywhere. He wants him so far away. He wants him in some place where it's not that easy for Veer to come back from once things start to get dark. I don't think it'll be easy for
that way. No matter what anyone says, even though he is on paper Londo's assistant, he'll have that concrete alibi saying he was not involved in this hot mess once it comes to that point.
That's
which is very important for his long-term career in life.
That is. And having him on Minbar that's probably the safest place for anybody right now in the galaxy.
Yeah.
It is just, it's easier that way. And I really do believe that at this point, Londo believes that things are headed in a really, really bad direction and that he has absolutely no control. And I think he's kind of scared because before with Morden, there was a sense of control. Now he doesn't know what's coming. But all he does know is whatever's on the way is going to be dark.
Yeah. It's going to be multiplied by Morden's deviousness.
It's going to be bad. And again, I will say this. I think Londo, for the most part, is drinking, but he's not getting drunk anymore. He wants to remain kind of vigilant because there are some important decisions that are coming. And so to have a drink in his hand, not to have a drink in his hand, people will become suspicious.
True. So he's a very party-hardy guy.
To have a drink in his hand keeps people a little, it allows him to basically continue to do what he needs to do, and for the people around him not to feel a little off about the situation when they deal with him. Although, again, all those who knew him from before realize that there is definitely a difference with him now.
All right, sorry, I'm back. Are we still on the same episode, or did Keith try to jump ahead?
No, we're still here.
We're at the final episode now, dude.
But you know what? The final episode's my foot in your ass, sir. I swear to God. As soon as I said that, we went up 2 viewers. Fuck yeah. One for my foot and one for your ass. I love it. I love all you people here. Apologies, me, and nice to see you here. Thank you for being a member supporting the channel. Archer Collins says, at Fat Steven, I'm thinking Veer's Underground Railway. I love that album. It was fantastic.
That's true, too. And I don't know if that's something that Londo consciously thought could happen, or if he's just ends up being kind of passively grateful that it happened, that you learn about later.
Shit. Jane Theory has blessed us. Says, I remember this. Dang, it's been so long since I watched this show. You should get back into it. We actually interviewed Lyta, Patricia Tallman, a couple weeks ago, and it was a great show. Hello, Jane. And Laura Thoth, Avon Lives. I know you love their makeup. Thank you for being here as well, sir. Please don't cancel me. All right, let's get back into it.
And then, to really make everything, now it's going to become a party with an alien probe showing up.
Not that type of probe. Before any of y'all write that in the chat, not that type of probe. No. It's like face down, ass up. The alien's about to probe my butt. It's not like that. It's nothing like that.
Oh wow!
What?
You need that visual.
You did need that. It's not like I'm holding the probe, going, "Ooh, what do we got in there?" Like it's not doing that road.
Yeah, but the picture you chose of Londo.
He already got the probe. Fear, where's your finger? That's the. Oh shit.
Oh no! So now he goes and confides or tries to convince Delenn to let Veer essentially be a ambassador guest like person.
He's safe.
And
Membar's safe. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. And she is skeptical at first, not of here, but of Londo's intentions.
Mm-hmm.
Quickly, Rob Marshall says, I'm up to season 4 in my own rewatch. Such a great show. Rob Marshall, thank you for being here. New name in the show. It is a great show. Except for Crusade. No one talks about Crusade.
Well, that's not this show. That's a different show. So
it's like the Voldemort of Babylon 5.
Wow.
Yeah,
and quickly, Snortopoopus, who is a polar bear, but seems to know a lot about this dreaded Centauri butt probe. I don't know how you know about this, sir, but all right.
That poor polar bear.
I love you guys in the chat. You're making my day so great. You're fucking awesome.
Fred Saberhagen. Do we have Fred Saberhagen?
Where is that?
Archer.
Ah, yes, Berserkers from Fred Saberhagen's books. Yes, I say that very well with a lisp. Now, pinky up while I drink this beer.
I'm very confused now.
Fred
so it's Londo. He's wondering what's happening. Okay. But look, Londo's always holding a drink. Look, we're in a different scene. Yes. He's now talking to that. He's drinking again. That ain't water.
Yeah, but it probably is water because they said they can't drink.
Well, they can't drink on the set. Without
no. Minbari can't have alcohol distilled drinks. It's poison.
Yeah.
It was like I was saying earlier. It is easier for people to not feel as distressed talking to Londo if he has a drink in his hand. You know, whenever he has no drinks or he's been doing all his diplomatic stuff. I mean, you notice as the series has progressed, as time has gone on, and Londo isn't constantly partying and being drunk as he's quote unquote grown up or as things have changed. People treat him differently. And I think he's learned that in order to, be taken, in order to give the vibes or at least try to get people to remember who he once was, it's easier for them to deal with him if he has a drink in his hand.
Yeah. And quickly, I want to highlight two quick comments. Gunnar says just lots of hairspray. I agree. It's definitely something that we got to look into. And Tickle Man says, well, some people watching for the first time, well, we're on season 3. I think they're a little late. Just kidding. You get what I mean. And Archer Collins says, Fred Saberhagen, am I saying this right? Saberhagen?
Saberhagen, yeah.
Saberhagen wrote a series of books about berserker probes, which were designed to destroy a civilization if it was advanced enough to become a threat to their creators. That's actually pretty awesome.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, and I think that's, at the time that the series was being broadcast, I mean, those were already classic books. So let's just say I think the writers of Babylon 5 were very aware of those books.
They take tropes from pretty much not just our own history, but from the history of fictional novelization, and they incorporate it in such a way that it's not stealing from it, but it's adapting it from like an alternate reality of what Earth could have been, how it evolved, and then forth it is going to evolve. And that's what's so brilliant about it. It's not the character development; it's the whole outside history of how they developed. And I love that about I said something smart. Someone clip that.
Okay.
You say a lot of smart
things. It's also the thing that really separates this show. This is a show that is really for everyone, really. But if you are a fan of the genre of literary science fiction, there's a lot for you here. Okay, and that's one of those things that often gets missed about a lot of TV shows. It's only those very rare shows where you notice the people involved with it are actually really, really big fans of the genre they're presenting. And in the case of Babylon 5, they are really big fans of literary science fiction. A lot of the characters are named either for authors and or usually characters or dropping hints or discussing even situations that you may have seen in other books. So yeah, there's a lot of deep stuff within Babylon 5. It's very well done.
It's very well written. And
yes.
Among other things that, I mean, I don't think I've ever read any sci-fi ever. But like the kinds of things I pick up on within like the costuming and the sets and the general character design and like these, I see a lot of like historical references and unique things that they make work together. Like it's very entertaining how French the Centauri are. Like historically, that's totally how their government works.
Yeah, well, and again, it is a really interesting way in creating an entire culture.
I have a problem right now. They really skipped out on the fruit. That is so fucking plastic. Look at that shit. That's something I would do if I was so hungry. I'm like, wow, those jawbreakers look fantastic. Why are they so shiny?
You're funny.
It's alien.
It's alien. Yeah, it's true.
Oranges.
The oranges were probably real, which is funny. But they make such distinct differences within these people's quarters for their cultures, and like no one talks about how Hindu, the Centauri, or not Centauri, the Minbari robes are, and you learn later how their philosophy is pretty much just yoga. It really is. It's like
can you imagine doing yoga with a Centauri and you know how like they're behind you and all of a sudden you're like, what the hell's touching my ass? It's just like the tip of their fucking broom hair.
Oh my god!
What?
Why would you do? No one does yoga that close to one another. That's not how that works.
You're the one who brought up yoga mats. Now I gotta put FAT-STEVENSEAGAL sitting on a cloud with Centauri hair. Just nail it out of the park.
It's alien yoga. Everybody does it in groups there.
Stuff that keeps
but not
tickling my
everyone's that
anus.
physically close.
I'm sorry.
That's a different kind of yoga, dude.
It's how the Centauri mate.
Hey, the reason why I say weird, outlandish shit 90% of the time is just to hear Keith go, "Oh my god," and listen to the rustle of him about to fall out of his chair. That's pretty much the only reason why I say it. This stream is brought to you. Yeah.
It just happens naturally too.
It's either that, it's the voices in my head. They just take over. It's great. It's great. Remember, this stream is brought to you by Master's Grift. Don't steal content without it. We got those shirts in the merch store, and yeah, I'm grifting right on my own show. Back to the show, guys.
Anyway, we have an alien probe.
I'm sorry, you're not getting through this episode without giggling.
What kind of probe?
Well, one that is capable of destroying the entire station.
It's a bomb. Really.
All we saw was like a big light.
It was a jellyfish-looking ship.
Jellyfish. That's the one.
Yeah, that is.
Totally ignore the fact that it looks like a beep.
Well,
like an anal bead.
No, I didn't say a bead. Wow, dude.
Y'all have problems.
You know this when you came into this show.
I was about to say button, and I had to stop because it's like, the word.
The magic word is beads.
Did it? And I thought, you know what? If I said that, Steven would go off anyway. So.
All right, today's safe word is bead. Not to be
I'm not sure you have safe words.
I'm sorry, Jane. That's not true. Zach is pointing it out and making it very uncomfortable. Jane Theory shows up and it's nothing but probe talk. You're sick, sir. You're out. Oh, for fuck's sakes, memes. Like, what the fuck? Ladies and gentlemen, get ready because the Mum Berry is going to make his appearance very short. Oh my god, that cut off his hair perfectly.
Yeah.
Beer literally looks like he got his hair cut off. Like, hey, Mum Berry, what the fuck happened? All right, back to the show.
Anyway, yeah, we have a this is our little shout out to Star Trek here. We have an alien device that has showed up and is asking a bunch of questions.
Yeah,
I think approximately 600 different questions.
It's testing the technological value, whether it's medical, biological. It's going through pretty much a whole civilization, medical, and technological advancement to see not only if they can answer the questions correctly, they will get all these magical answers. So it sounds pretty much too good to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's Danger, Will Robinson. That's all I have.
Have you seen that movie Midnight Madness?
No.
Is that Walmart on Black Friday?
No, it's like the scavenger hunt movie, and then it has Stephen Thirst. He's like a kind of like a bully in it, and
No
then
idea.
Michael J. Fox is in it.
All right. Before we get into that, ladies and gentlemen, if your volume is up high, you're wearing earbuds, turn them down now because we have to go another level up.
Though I know I should be wary, still I venture someplace scary. Ghostly haunting, I turn loose. Beetlejuice! Beetlejuice! Beetlejuice!
Oh, all right. This segment is brought to you by Mumberry. Fresh in cans and in your jam.
Squeeze the
Comes in
juice.
jars. Oh, actually, the funny thing is, like, my whole getup is actually based off of a guy wearing, like, an orange shirt and that said juice on it. It was at one of the very first WWF events, yes, when the F was still in there, that I went to. And this guy would get up on, like, the balcony, and he sounded just like the Macho Man and was just the right size venue that his voice projected perfectly. He would be like, "Ooh, yeah!" Then I heard a couple thousand people cheering, "Juice,
Sauce
juice."
ready.
I mean, that has nothing to do
was
with
the
this
Kool-Aid
episode,
Man.
but
I would also like to Colin makes a great point quickly. And hi, memes were still in the first episode. Don't worry, Keith didn't take over. Archer Collins says, and it takes the most of the episode to ask why, never mind how they knew about human diseases. Well, let's go back. Archer, it actually makes perfect sense for one thing. Vorlons, the Jack the Ripper episode. We don't know how many races have visited our planet, have been interacted without even being seen and effed off. So technically, it does fall under that trope, that pretense, that whole kind of subliminal layer of storytelling. Yep. So the other thing that bothers me is, like, when I first saw that ship, it gave me a biotech vibe, like it was a servant of something else. And I'm like, Vorlon's coming to blow up the own station. Didn't they just get back? What the hell's going on here? Like,
yeah. I thought it was Vorlon. Like, oh, it's like a little mini Vorlon jellyfish ship instead of looking like a cephalopod. It's a jellyfish.
Wait, so
cuttlefish. No, it looks like a cuttlefish. Why?
Could that even mate with Babylon 5?
Yes, that's what happens when the ships get into the docking ring. They mate.
We already had this discussion, Stephen.
You had this discussion, and my mic was muted.
Oh boy. Okay.
I'm kidding.
I mean, the best part is you get to see Sheridan do extra Sheridan stuff because he's totally on top of these things when they're actually presented to him. Finally, it's hilarious.
Zach says, longer this is paused, the more Vera looks like Dom DeLuise. Okay, I believe you.
That's why he's going on vacation.
And hello, Black Dragon. And he's actually quoting Monkey G was saying, you're talking about Midnight Madness, 1980.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And it was showtime an hour ago. What are you talking about?
It's crazy time now.
They're not on daylight savings time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's for a week.
So, means we're still in the first episode. We're talking about the probe, as everyone starts giggling, has just arrived, asking like pretty much an exam to see whether or not you're going to get answers to all your tech answers in biological.
Here's your dissertation. Make sure you get all these right, and if you get all these right, we'll give you a whole bunch of shiny new technology and stuff. We're not going to tell you what it is, but we promise. Wake, or we'll blow you up. I love the Sheridan stuff where he's just like, basically,
what the fuck is this shit?
Screw these guys. He's like, this makes no sense.
I agree.
Oh my god, it's the rich Nigerian uncle you didn't have except in probe form.
No, that's Gary Ducey dressed as a Narn. What are you talking about?
Kinda. That's pretty close.
Yes, this is the scene where basically Mr. Sellout gets surrounded by a group of Narn, and they call him a blood traitor.
Oh shit! Those are fighting words.
That means what's about to happen is pretty much just gonna be unhealthy. It's the best way to put it. But it's the scene where a group of Narn are very unhappy with Talon, and Talon tries to make the case. There's a scuffle. Talon draws his sword because one of them is about to stab Talon in the back, and that's where Jakar shows up.
Before you get into that, Keith, memes, this message is for you. You have to read it out loud.
Oh, wow. Memes is actually on the correct episode this week. It happened. No, it was Steven's presentation. He had the numbers. They confused me.
What?
How do numbers confuse you? I mean,
I'm
not good at that.
HBO Max's numbers are different for me.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they're all wrapped up, so I had to go by title now. Yes.
¿Por qué no las dos?
But honestly, I love this episode. We're not rating it yet, but like there was just so much, and it was like it was like watching. The thing with this episode, like I'll say with Babylon 5 in general, is you get those episodes that are like hit or miss. They have their moments, but maybe 76% of the shows, when you're actually watching them, and you're getting like the flow of character interaction, character growth, how a command crew, the ambassadors all interact. It feels like you're watching like an intergalactic Cheers in a way. And the way it's all done, I'm not wrong. Londo is pretty much Norm. You got Jakar pretty much as Cliff.
No, Jakar is not Cliff.
Well, come on.
God,
oh, look, we got a debate right. Hold on. Okay, before you yell at me some more, I got $5 finally. Thank you. Sorry. Mr. Trickle Trunk with the $5 Canadian super chat. Some quirks of a character-focused show like this is that the Doomsday Bomb in this C-plot here. I love B5 stuff like that so much. Characters first. I agree. Characters in this show are what makes the show. The station is doesn't even have its own character because it doesn't even have an AI really that's that like as well as let's say if you're looking at DS9. So it's pretty much cheers with Vorlons. Yes, that's it. Okay, we can disagree. Okay, Jakar's Fraser. But before we disagree, this one is for you.
No, give me money.
There you go.
I think
Subliminal
these
messaging.
absolutely have a personality, and they develop, and that is such an appreciation for good design in this that goes completely unnoticed.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the ship looks nice.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's a hot tub warehouse, I hear.
Still gotta make that a studio name.
Hot tub
Shane, you're not late.
Warehouse.
Well, Shane, technically you're late. You're after memes, so yeah, you're fucking late, bro.
No, I was slightly earlier than some other pastimes, but all I know with this is you're looking at this, and like Mr. Tickle Trunk said, it's like this is literally like the C plot is. Oh yeah, by the way, we're gonna blow up the station. That was kind of like I don't know, a couple episodes ago. It's like, oh my god, somebody's blowing everything up, and then it's like, hi, here's a friendly bomb. Give us all this information.
But
this doesn't make sense. And he's like, all right, as long as this doesn't happen, he's like, if we get blown up, I don't have to go to this meeting. Unfortunately,
but memes, they could have played this off a second way. And the second way you could look at this, like, yes, we got the normal C plot. But they could have played it off like we've seen in other shows where this is actually alien tech hijacked and hacked by another race that is low tech and using it to gain new technological advances by doing this questionnaire to other races outside the universe.
They're like the Pac-Leds?
Yeah, like those guys, yeah.
Are those the collectors? Like the one that Sheridan
You are smart, Forge. You are smart, Lordy LaForge.
Oh, well, it makes sense. I mean, they were ninjing people. Why wouldn't they ninja your tech?
They look like Sharpays.
You mean the markers?
The marker people?
So are you saying these are technically another reincarnation of the Dax symbiotes, pretty much? They're the you see what I'm saying there? Because they're all the spots. Don't.
I'm just going to say that later on, in as everything begins to wrap up, at least with the C plot, Sheridan drops, the term berserker probe. So again, Saberhagen, and he calls it right. Basically, Sheridan begins to have second thoughts in sending all the information. In an attempt to get the last of the medical questions, we see Dr. Franklin lose his stuff, and he ends up taking that last stim.
And he lied about it. Oh,
Junkie.
And-
what's funny is like whenever I hear Berserker, I think of the Clerks thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chickle Trunk jumps back in with another $5 Canadian super chat. Says, Kate! Sorry, the mic's too close for that one. Kate! You have the eye for design. We do. I appreciate it. Okay. Be more forceful and talk over. You spelled my name wrong. Fuck you. Over Steven or Stefan, whatever you want to call it. If you have to, tell us about the things. And with that, you get a whole bunch of.
All I want is some sweet new balls.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, clean your ears out, woman. I want some balls.
I actually am in the market for a bunch of small balls right now.
I'm not going there with your
No, I want to do an experiment. I think I can actually model a space.
Yeah,
that's another
memes.
question.
Memes want some mem balls.
Oh, are those a thing? Are they crystalline?
Oh,
Are they juicy?
He should really dub over
you.
the Beetlejuice thing to be Mumberry Juice.
Oh yeah, Mumberry.
No. That's the Gummy Bear theme song. It's like Mumberries. No, I got it. I'm sorry.
It's Gummy Bears.
Bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Yeah,
bouncing everywhere.
Yeah, I know the show. I love it.
I feel you, bud.
I called him Tickle Trunk for a month. He owes me some typo. He's owed some typos. He put two more letters. He put two letters that aren't even in my name. It's literally in my channel name.
You skip words too.
I skip words because I slur. There's a difference.
Oats.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I have an impediment. A Budweiser impediment.
That's not an impediment.
There
That's
we
a
go.
choice.
It's got Mummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Hello.
High detection, I do declare.
Declare.
They're the mummy bears.
Mummy Bears.
Arwen
Oh, God.
Avalon, thank you for being a member. Jumps in quickly saying, "Hey, y'all, just a heart, half a moment to pop in. Hey, all have a great stream. You get better." Okay, honestly, now, Mr. Tickle with a $2 super chat. This is not fucking Family Matters. I am not Steve fucking Urkel.
Hey, don't hate on J.L. White.
I'm not. I love that show. Don't
He
talk to
voiced
me.
Sonic the
What
Hedgehog.
shows do you dislike?
Anything that's reality TV.
He's still kind of a douche.
Well, okay, with that, Mr. Tickle Trunk, you're going to get the... I'm already
What about
done.
competition, like cooking shows? Is that okay? That's reality technically, but it's
Unless I want to,
competition.
unless I can actually lick the screen and it tastes like what they're making. Fuck no, I don't want it. No.
Dude, that would be a great idea. It sounds like there's a lot of liability.
Yeah, scratch and sniff, lick and sniff. That's all I need right there. No,
You don't want the
I
Apple
just
smell-o-phone?
pictured that. I just pictured that.
Oh
I'm
my
like, I don't want to lick my TV. That's like a New York subway. I don't want that.
No, you lick
Your
the
TV's in a
peripheral.
subway?
Now you see this narn.
It's the attachment.
You see this narn pulling out that fancy butter knife.
It's probably a specific kind of knife. I just don't know.
Yeah, it's called the shanking.
Yeah, I know.
Not to be confused with the shinkies.
Wait, are they going to a room?
So they're fighting, and
Oh, this part.
trying
This
to
part.
take
Okay.
out milk toast. He is. And then Jakar comes up and is like, "What the fuck, guys?"
Jakar, whose last battle with his own people, as he was going rah, rah,
Yeah,
and then he slashed in the back, poisoned. He's like, "Tell no one of this." This time, he just literally like ultra instinct and just freaking like stops it. He's like, "No."
Does anyone else notice how deeply, intensely Sheridan is staring at this handrail? Like, when everyone's off the command deck, you have no idea.
He's like, "I need a drink.
I'm gonna ride you down the stairs."
We're just he's looking at a coin on the floor. He's like,
Who
should I
should
bend
have
over?
that quarter? Yeah. Now, Offnick says this stream's character arc rating: shirtless meme, Londo, Keith, Monkey, Kate, Veer, at chat, Jakar, Pluto is a planet. Fuck you, and memes with a shirt on. He can't be there twice.
No, you come full circle. It's Universal Truth number 10.
Rating.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Lick and Sniff sounds like a show where no one has taste buds. I'm not doing that.
This is definitely an episode where you can agree. I think a majority of these characters probably all went out for a nice drink after everything was done.
I think my favorite part of this whole episode is like, I'd rather get blown up with that 4 megaton alien bomb out there than actually deal with the fucking doctors.
Go to work.
500 megatons. It was half a gigaton.
Yeah.
It's like only working people would understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that this is I think you're right. This is a well-balanced story.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike a lot of episodes they've had in the past, a few episodes in the past, this is one that is packed full of a lot of good stuff, and all of it plays into the future of what's about to happen with a lot of these characters. So, I applaud them. Very
What
very
the
well
hell
done.
are you doing, Memes?
Who?
He's like all wiggling around. Sorry.
You know when someone super glues a quarter on the ground, you're
Yes.
like, why is that on the ground?
That's what I was thinking happened. Like, it's still there. These people suck.
But like,
Everyone doesn't like my humor anymore.
yeah, no, I get it.
You
No,
you pick it up. Silver change is worth keeping.
But Keith, I'm going to give you the props. I'm going to give everyone props here, especially in the chat. Anyway, this is the brilliance of it. If we take away the space station, let's say put them in a bar, it is literally Cheers. It literally has literally the same type of effect when it comes to character development, the banter, the joking around, the nudge here and there, and it still throws in the seriousness. Let's relate when it comes to Garibaldi and Franklin. Garibaldi is an obsessive when it comes to certain vices and niches, so he has to keep himself in check, and he can pick up the signs, and that's why he is approaching Franklin. He's not approaching Franklin to be a dick or to put him down. He's like, look, bro, I'm reaching out as a friend, not as security, as a friend.
Well, yeah, Garibaldi's in the
doesn't-
middle of changing.
Yeah.
Everyone's changing. That's one of the great things about this show. By the time we get to the final episode, you're going to be able to see everybody's story arcs pretty clear, and that they've come out the other side of a lot of this stuff. Many of them in a much different place in their lives, having experienced so much in just a quote-unquote short amount of time. But especially Garibaldi, who, again, when he started out as a character on this show, he was someone that didn't think he was going to live that long.
No.
And his way of doing things, his way of being contributed to, in its own way, to where everything ended up. He had to learn a lot, the same way that Londo had to learn, same way that even Sheridan had to learn. And that's one of the great things about this show. You see characters learning and growing based on what they've come to understand about the world around them and themselves.
Well, Keith, the other brilliance about the whole thing, especially when you're speaking about Garibaldi, is Garibaldi had his whole season arc with Sinclair. And when he started having those, the tacky on throws into the future or the past, whatever you want to call it, or how do you want to look at it, it gave him a realization of mortality and his choices and where his road could lead, not where they led, where they could lead. It's definitely a difference. And I think he has learned how to pick not only his days, but his interactions based on that.
I think that was the beginning of it.
Yeah.
But what truly kicked it off was the fact that he was unable to put the clues together to save the president. He
couldn't.
But that's the thing. I think deep down, he's still, as the kind of character that he is, I think he still kind of blames himself for that.
He is. He always will be. Like, it gets to the point where he even tries to. Sorry, you didn't hear that. I'm not going into that one. This is for later seasons. Caught myself.
Dare you?
How dare you be late again?
I know.
Well, we also already know that he's a recovering alcoholic at this point. So how he interacts with Steven.
It's been a while. Oh, you're talking about Garibaldi.
Yeah. Good for you, I think.
Hey, take out trunk. I didn't spoil it. Sorry, Kate.
No, he stopped himself.
I stopped myself. My foot actually went in my mouth that time. What are you doing, me?
You
told
on the
you.
edge. You almost fell. I kind of did that. It was very comical one day back in the 6th grade. We were carrying a big, gigantic Egypt diorama that one of our other groups had made, and I backed into a corner, and it was the most comical thing because I hit the wall. I was like, oh, and I almost saved it, and then my knee cratered through somewhere.
No.
Okay. Anyway, my point is that we already are aware that Garibaldi is a recovering alcoholic. So noticing when other people are struggling in a similar way with whatever their choice substance is relatable and kind of predictable. But that's okay because it works. It makes sense that you would actively reach out in that way because that's what normal people do, and that's.
I think also the changes. When Sinclair left, that was a major change for Garibaldi because, for one thing, he wasn't awake. He goes into a coma. He wakes up and everything's different. He
was shot.
Yeah, but I mean, from his point of view, I mean that you
like
have
The Walking Dead.
Kinda. I mean, it's for him. It was all of that. And so I think it jump-started who he truly was or is on the road to becoming. And so this is a really, and one of my favorite character arcs on the show. So
every time they spell my name wrong, y'all in the chat are getting that for 5 minutes. Enjoy it.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Keep it up, troublemakers.
Oh my God, the chat is on fire.
I gotta say one thing, like, oh yeah. And Lord Thoth, we know you like Egypt. I've seen your avatar. I'm not. Yeah, no, that's definitely not Greek. Come on, man.
It's not Greek to you.
I'm done with you.
No. Okay.
Look what you started now. Now they're calling me Stefan, like I'm the guy from. Oh God.
They're gonna have to start calling you Fat PHAT.
They already call me PHAT, but it's pretty and not. That's what
your name's getting longer.
The scene where Franklin loses it again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a little understandable compared to other scenarios where it's the drugs. This is like more than just drugs, so I get it.
He's literally threatening about how there's brown streaks as she's getting kicked out of the medical facility. I'm like, oh my God, bro, you not only dropped the mic, you then kicked it at your aunt and then hit her in the head and then came back and go, what'd I do? Literally, that's what the staff actually came in and were like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm perfectly fine. Well, let's go again. That's pretty much how it goes.
Yeah.
I am not Steven Seagal Hall.
I think we've also jumped over the sequence where Jakar has decided to go back to Narn to give himself up.
Oh, that's a good one. No, because it shows that Jakar, he's always willing. He's going to do what he must for the people because he's literally the only free Narn. It's like you go back there, you're probably going to die. But it's like, well, if it will stop the suffering of my people, I'm willing to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I got respect for the dude.
But that's the whole understanding, I think, of when it comes to Jakar in general. He is not just the only one that's under like sanctuary, if we're going to call it. He is the only Narn that is pretty much let's look at it this way. The way he is acting right now, and even it hasn't been realized throughout the series, is that he is like a symbol of the one thing that Londo wants to destroy, which is pride. Mm-hmm. The pride of the people, the pride of the soul, the pride of what is his of the Kari?
Yeah, and again, compare who he is right now to how he started, and how you originally thought of him. Look at the journey to this point. He's gone through so much to get to where he is now. And his journey, he still has a ways to go because in the end, wow. So, this is a very transformative episode without really calling attention to a lot of things, but it advances so much, and it begins to show you, I think, the possibilities of where they're possibly going to end up.
Is someone fighting Darth Vader with lightsabers? What the hell was that?
It sounded like a car.
Yeah, like vroom, vroom.
You know what? That was probably me. Somebody else passing down my street.
Mm-hmm.
At least they're not sharing music.
Lord Thoth says that Archer Khan, there was a Thoth who was a servant and a scientist of Anubis because he was forced into servitude, and he was an old Gua'uld who invented a ton of stuff. That really killed the whole fucking sentence. We say ton of stuff. I love you, Thoth. It's like, yeah, he did all this wonderful shit. He was pushed into this, and he did stuff. Lots of stuff.
Well, that was like with the Chevy truck dude at like the Super Bowl. It's got technology and stuff.
I mean, he could. Wait,
this is the thing. It's actually more noticeable.
There is one thing we got to look at, and this is why I froze it on this in general because I was lucky. Look at Jakar. We've seen Jakar going like where he's crying for his people in the hall when he realizes he can't get help from other planets or other companies or other organizations, governments. Look at him in this form. He's already accepted where his not only his stance as a person and a Narn is, he's accepted the fact that his choices are still his own, and he will go forth with them. And this, you see the calmness in his eyes, the smile. Well, he's happy no matter what he chooses. He knows he's not doing it for himself, but for his people.
Mm-hmm.
And Jakar is brilliant in that aspect. The actor who plays Jakar, the brilliance in this delivery is something we are lacking in mainstream television, streaming movies today. And
he was a very good actor, and I've enjoyed meeting Andreas Katsulas. I was lucky enough to do it twice, and found him to be just a really just pleasant man, and you know, I would have liked to have spent more time with him. You know, and I really wanted to ask him how it was to act opposite Harrison Ford.
What's messed up is that even Miss Tallman brought this to our attention. None of these motherfuckers tried on the Vorlon suit when Straczynski wasn't looking. That still bothers me to this day. Like, none of y'all were like, hey, I want to wear it today. Like, none of them at all.
It's a difficult costume to put on. It takes more than one person to help you do it.
Well, that's the thing. Now, and as a longtime Godzilla fan, here's the thing. One does not simply just hop into the Godzilla suit. It's one of those things where it's a laborious process, get the 100+ degrees there, and the dude literally passed out several times because, like, this was also like back in, like, I don't know, the 50s or so, and
20s.
I would totally put it on.
Memes. We all know you have Blue Eyes White Dragon pajamas when you go to bed at night. We all know already.
I never got the onesie.
Yeah. Oh, dude, we'll get you the onesie with the wings, okay? All right.
I'll totally wear it.
I know you will. Just not on this stream.
Jeez.
Now he's gonna
It'll
try
be an intro. It'll be an intro. We'll make it Zach's man. I'm gonna hit all of you somehow. I'm gonna hit all of you at the buffet next time I see you. Zach's with a $5 Canadian super chat says better nickname #Stefan's. No, I'm not called Backdoor Jerry. Backdoor Jerry sounds like a really depressed chocolate ice cream.
Oh, jeez. Stefan's blueberry pie by the windowsill.
And just for that, Zach's, I'm going to give you... And followed by # go fuck yourself.
My friends keep saying he's gonna go buy that because you can get the flute for sale now for relatively cheap. It's like, what the fuck for?
Dude,
why?
I got that. My mom got that for me like back in the day. It was awesome.
And
I think I still have mine.
And if anyone's wondering in the chat, we've been doing this for like almost a few months now, like 16 episodes for the second season. The reason why I don't have Babylon 5 clips is because we literally have a guy from WB who has been manually claiming everything. So I've actually had to delete the intro from some of our live streams. So if I'm not using Babylon 5 clips, is because that guy is sitting there with the mouse on key going, is that ours? Is that ours? Is that ours?
Thanks for the view, guy.
Thank you for the donations, guys.
WB don't mess around.
But I love Jakar, man. Like they're all great. Like I can't say this enough. The Fugitive, One-Armed Man. That was Jim Carrey, and that was The Mask. No, it wasn't me. It was the One-Armed Man.
You're confusing genres.
Yeah, I am not confusing genres.
Well, that's a lottery machine. One-Armed Bandit.
And here's the school teacher you never wanted, but you always got.
I had cool teachers.
Just to clarify, actor Andreas Katsoulis was the one-armed man in the film version, the Academy Award-winning film version of the hit television series The Fugitive.
Yeah.
So, opposite Harrison Ford.
Cool.
Keith is the person before the internet. When you had questions, you would ask him.
Yeah.
That's exactly how my brother and I were. There were two of us.
Harrison Ford helped me up after I fell on my ass.
Yeah. Keith is literally Keith and his brother are literally the physical embodiment of AOL online. One's AOL, one's online.
I liked AOL.
You have mail. I hope you don't have stock.
Yes, I remember that Ron Williams bit.
I love Ron Williams.
Oh, the merger totally it didn't work. It sounded good. It didn't work as well. Yeah, I was disappointed.
I've met the man twice.
Wow.
Oops.
I was lucky both times. He almost effed up my tattoo by making jokes when I was getting my neck done. But yeah.
Wow. You have a tattoo on your neck?
Are we downvoting Zax? What's going on? What? No, don't downvote Zax. Zax is a good. All you people in the chat don't deserve a downvote, but if you don't like something, fucking downvote it. I don't care. Be yourselves.
Oh my
Hubert
god.
says someone sitting around watching streams for violations needs to get laid more often. That's the problem. That's why he's downvoting people.
I can
Oh,
convene.
I see what you mean.
Coitus on a regular basis tends to make one a lot more calm. I feel the world would be a better place with more shared mind-blowing orgasms.
So what you're saying is that he needs the apple pie a month club. Is that
A month?
I think EDS is part of that club.
All I know is if we legalize dueling and decriminalize prostitution, I think a lot of things in society would just kind of balance out.
And Zach says, don't downvote right now.
Has made some bad choices.
But anyway, hi Pete. How's it going? Thanks for stopping by.
No, I don't care about
Later.
downvote. No, I really
I know
don't
you
care
don't.
anymore.
That's my
Yeah,
point.
I apologize for getting political.
Well, we'll not get age restricted.
Yeah,
I have not
right.
claimed it.
Archer,
If anyone
yes.
thinks this show is for kids, you need to be better at parenting.
What show? This show or Babylon 5?
Yeah, our show right now.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, we're not made for children.
Not actually children.
Well, Babylon 5 was on like TBS or TNT, one of those.
Yeah. TNT bought the rights in order to help finance the final season of the show. So,
And little musical chair producers and executives wanted to come in there and.
Yeah, we got Crusade. Yay.
well, I will say this. TNT was very helpful in at least getting a lot of the Babylon 5 television films done. So a lot of the little Babylon 5 films they made, a lot of the films that they ended up making were very helpful in fleshing out the story and also giving everyone, hey, Niporial life form, in order to give everyone more of these characters. So in that respect, I wish HBO Max had those available because those particular films, especially Third Space, play a very important role in fleshing out a few story points. Now, I'm not here saying that a lot of those films were the best ever made. Third Space, while important to fill out certain things, it's probably the worst of all the Babylon 5 movies. But in
the bar for par is just kind of a
Well, In the Beginning was very good. As an individual, I've never seen Babylon 5 before type of movie event. Still not the best, but if you are a fan, if you've gone through the entire series, there's a bunch of stuff in the beginning that's more like helping you to actually see certain things.
It actually explains like things that were going on that you're like, oh no, I get it now. Now that makes better sense. Okay.
And I just wish they had taken the time to do it up a little bit better and going back a little further with certain characters to allow you to see certain things. Because there are things that are talked about, especially in the first season with Sinclair, that I wish they had included in the beginning. The fact that Sheridan and Sinclair, I think, actually met one another when they were much younger, and they never put that in there. I wish they had.
Gunnar quickly says, third space is safe to skip. I liked In the Beginning. It was okay. That's the thing when you're doing TV movies based off series. It's always that gamble with the hit or miss. Some of them will have aspects that will grab you, but then it's filled with fucking drawn over nonsense where you've like, I've already experienced this in the series. Why are you throwing this in the film?
Mm-hmm. River of Souls is another one.
Yeah.
I think that was I think it was In the Beginning, Third Space, and then River of Souls was the third one. Again, not all of this is that important to anyone that is just coming into this without having seen the show. All of these movies are something that you need to watch after.
I have a question because there's 7 movies in total. We have The Gathering, The Beginning, Third Space, The River of Souls, A Call to Arms, The Legend of the Ragnars, and The Lost Tales Voices in the Dark.
Gathering is the pilot. And let's see. So that about, all the ones I've named up to this point all are about or concerning the characters on Babylon 5. Everything else is about starting the next chapter and going into Crusade and beyond. So,
Nerporio says, I need to rewatch the movies. Don't do it. I've never seen Crusade. Don't do it. If we want to do a satire coverage, we'll do that because I still haven't even asked these guys if they want to do Crusade. Because after we're done Babylon 5, I think we're going into Venture Brothers.
Yeah. You know what? I personally think I don't hate Crusade. I do not hate Crusade at all.
I don't hate it
I
either.
love it. I love, but is it the best show? It could have been better. It would have depended on how season 2 was, and they never got a chance to do that.
Yep.
Especially considering a certain character that makes a cameo appearance in one of the episodes. It would have been nice to see what season 2 was like.
See, that's that.
How
that was the
dare
whole
you
thing.
say something isn't perfect?
Well, you need to watch Stargate Universe and watch those seasons until it ended and how it ended, and you'll kind of get a pretense of like you don't have to hate something, but you feel like it wasn't given the proper respect of how you ended a show. And like the way Universe was, you were expecting like some type of network to pick it up. And Crusade could have had the chance if TNT let it go and let another network pick it up. I don't know if it was viable back in that day. It could have had a chance to be the Star Trek of Babylon 5 and branch not only the character development that Babylon 5 had on a ship that is exploring the universe, but given aspiration on how they could actually grow across the universe. And that's where it failed. That's where it failed because TNT wanted creative control rather than knowledgeable control.
Yeah, they were asking. Basically, they wanted to turn the show into something different. And J. Michael Straczynski I think he reached his limit dealing with TNT on that show. Because, again, one would think, once you finish Babylon 5, you're thinking, wow, this is an incredible universe. I'd like to see more. And he came up with this really cool idea to explore the rest of the Babylon 5 universe. But TNT just found a way of just all over the whole thing. And it was just,
and Archer Collin, I respect your opinion. I might have to rewatch it again, but with Crusade, I saw something brilliant. We got to see a new type of ship, a new type of tech, and the technomancers are like popping in, like they brought all these amazing things, like little things that could have made everything together. But it was the delivery that bothered me.
Yeah. Well, also the whole thing with the uniforms, that was messed up. I mean, it was just, whew. And
it sounds like they were adding certain aspects to maybe appeal to a more broad audience to try to make it more easily digestible. Whereas if you're a fan of the series, you're like, okay, I know we explored a different area, but the way it ended up being executed, you're like, could have been better.
Yeah,
it's like Marvel films now in day and age. Like Iron Man 1, fucking fantastic, and now
very high.
Now you're sitting there going,
high. It's. I mean, after like Infinity War, it's like the bar is already set so high. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna try to top that? I mean, good luck with that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was about topping that, but I mean, TNT was wanting, like, they were wanting stuff like, hey, let's see the captain get involved in a relationship. And you're thinking, you know, I think even JMS was thinking, are you guys even paying attention to the story I'm doing for this show? I mean,
I mean, these things are hinted at a little bit here and there, but I mean, that seems to be a very long game type of thing.
Yeah, we bought this for fan
every
fiction.
race is coming to an end. Who wants to bone who now? What?
Well, I mean, it's kind of the natural progression.
Well, but then we got to the final thing that he did, which was Lost Tales, which I think was a fantastic concept and would have served its purpose brilliantly, except that Crusade had ended so badly and burned so many fans that not enough people knew that they were doing this show, and so they only got that one movie. And because the concept for the Babylon 5 Lost Tales was, hey, this is our opportunity to be able to tell any story within the history of Babylon 5 that you want to see. And so kind of like the way that they're doing right now with the What If show, except no what if tales. These are actual stories that the characters are in, and we could take it from any time period now within the Babylon 5 universe. So if you wanted to do something like way back for the in the beginning segment, we could do that. If you wanted to do something that took place in the middle of season, like you could do like a story that occurred on the side, some tiny tucked away tale that occurred on the station.
We have an incredibly well-developed universe here. You can do whatever you want in any aspect. You already have everything built.
Yeah, they had everything, and I remember JMS tried to tell everybody, it's like, it is very important for you guys to watch this show. I need everybody to watch this show, and when it hit, hardly anybody watched it. And so TNT used that as a reason to not move forward with it.
See, if they wanted to do something brilliant with Babylon 5 and they wanted to have a little bit of free reign while keeping within the universe, make a series on technomages. The birth, the growth, the evolution of technomages. Why they use technology masked as magic. What came to that purpose. And literally right then and there. Or a rogue technomage that's literally trying to go. Well, you know what I mean? I think there was something.
And I agree with you. But that probably would have been an episode or two that they would have had on this show. The Lost Tales was a way of telling any story using any character at any point within the Babylon 5 universe. So you could do one. I mean, given how far Babylon 5 this show is going to go with the story, when we get to season 4, you're going to see how far this story goes. And that there's a lot of characters and that are even hinted at that cover a wide range and a multiple years. They could have even done one. Okay, I had to stop myself. But they could have taken it from any point of time that you wanted to take it. Yeah. And it was set up to be brilliant, perfect. And I just wish more people had really watched it, because I did, and I liked what I saw. I like what was coming. I like what they could have done. And wow.
The question is, we have 18 people here. We've gone up to 20. I want to ask you, has Babylon 5 given you hope that sci-fi can come back again, or do you think it's a lost art of the 90s? Because someone's clock ticking. Is that you, Memes?
What? I don't have a watch.
I think Mings' mic was off.
Oh, that was weird. I was hearing ticking.
Do you want to start? Do you want everybody to join in at once, or are we just gonna go person to person?
Well, just in general, like
Eight.
Eight, yeah. What?
I agree. 8.
Yes, 8. Yes, 8.
Yeah, it's better than normal.
See, we got the buzzer too.
But your question about is it a lost art to write things well, in particular sci-fi? I'm not the right person to ask that, so I guess I have to pass.
Okay.
I'll answer it, at least for myself. You know, after this show, you still had shows like Breaking Bad.
Earth
you
2.
Still had shows like, you know, The Sopranos, shows like The Expanse.
Yeah. I mean, there's good writing out there. It's just a lot of it is not in English. I'll just say that. I've seen most of the good things I've seen in the last 5 years have been from other countries.
Mm-hmm. I look, with The Expanse, I think it proves that you can still do good science fiction as long as you're not being a dick about it. And I'm looking right at everybody connected to current Star Trek. Their current plan seems to be, hey, we're going to wait for William Shatner to die, and then we're really going to show you what we can do.
That's horrible.
That's the way they treat everything right now. That is the direction that they are going. They really do not care for him as a person.
That's sad.
That's the reason why you won't really see him be a part of anything that they're doing. They try to figure out ways of doing stuff without having to involve him. So they're going to basically depend on George Takei to be the point man for the original series.
That guy's a sellout.
And then anyone else that isn't problematic will be invited to join in what they're doing. And they're really making it a point by going to different actors and actresses and letting them understand. It's like, hey, you do realize which way the wind is blowing on this. You know, we are running the show right now, and we get to decide what is important for the fans and what isn't, which is the reason why you're seeing Captain Kirk's face replaced on a lot of the packaging for the stuff that they do. They're going to replace his face with Michael Burnham, even though whatever product they're offering is related to the original series, and they already have a ready-made excuse for that. So they really want William Shatner to just go away.
He won't.
He won't.
Tickletron quickly says, I think the first meeting with Centauri and humanity leasing the jump gates for the first time would be a cool to tell. Could be too political, but they could do a lot with that first contact story. Yeah, they could. And
that would have been an interesting episode for the Lost Tapes because it fits right in that whole in the beginning thing. That's what I love about in the beginning. You get to see the beginning of a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm. I just think I love Babylon 5, and I want to share with as many people as possible. And I'm so happy the way we've been doing this every Monday. And it's just been picking up force. And I like having shows that make you think. Robert Meyer Burnett and other people have said this before, especially when it comes to Trek. A show doesn't have to force you to think, but it has a subliminal way of making you think.
Oh, I don't think Trek. I disagree with that. Nothing in Star Trek makes me think.
Sentence yet. Yeah, my sentence not done yet, but thank you.
Steven, there's something down below. It's hope.
Not anymore. I just got crumbled and it's just still over here.
I'm sorry.
Share my screen. I was trying to be coy. See? Dreams might come true. I'm just saying it might be able to meme it into reality. Who knows? If you actually say a whole bunch of nice things and people are actually watching, maybe good things will happen.
Scroll down. What does it say underneath?
You're making a pitch to invite him on the show.
Yeah, go ahead, do it.
Hey, wait. Oh, okay.
There now, look, yeah. See, look, I can do
We
it.
had Patricia Talman on recently, and the invitation is to you is open as well, sir. We have new and old fans sharing and loving the series. Links to the playlist. My DMs are open to you at all the B5ers. Oh, you're so sweet.
But that's the whole pretense
You are
of
so
everything. You had liked it now. It's been on the 12th. It took you what?
I didn't see
8
it
days?
until now.
You didn't see it till now, so you only looked at your.
I don't care. I'm bad at Twitter.
I know you're bad at Twitter.
I will say this. I hope we are able to get him on because, again, he is one of the most interesting personalities, and one of the best things to come out of the 90s is
porn.
What?
Oh no! Well, that and online internet forums as well, which are also related to that. But no, I swear, based upon what y'all have told me, and growing up kind of during that time period, I'm like, if this dude was like, oh, let me actually like talk with the community, talk with the people that are actually watching the show. One, it's going to keep you freaking honest through the series and everything, and especially if you're actually enjoying, if you're having a good time, it's almost like maybe some fan input might actually influence the series. Oh my God, imagine you could love something and might actually see what you were thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be sweet.
Good. Like a musical.
Yeah, somewhat, yeah. I just think that having JMS, being able to talk to him, I mean, I would want to pick his brain about just some of the other things that...
okay, Hannibal.
Well, come on, dude. I mean, seriously, wouldn't you want to know what
I have all the
possible storylines he wanted to tell?
I would love
get
to.
around?
Yeah,
how many times do you think Keith would say that's so hot?
But the other thing is, the thing is though, with these people, they've been asked these same types of questions all the time. So you would have to approach them in a way that you could get your answers, but ask in such a way that they've never
it's called
heard before.
tact. We've had this discussion.
You mean like being on the internet with a panel including a talking parody of a celebrity?
Zach7 says, sorry, I keep calling you Zach7. I don't know why. It's possible you're going to be forced to do some character writing you won't like. That is true. But it's about making the right sacrifice that don't ruin your story. I don't think, But at the same time, if you own the property, you can tell them all the fuck off and just do like the Homer Simpson middle finger everywhere, you know?
Again, it's just, this is a great show. Very well put together. A great writing staff. I think the world of what of JMS's talent, considering how many things he's done post Babylon 5. And I personally think, from a writing point of view, that his screenplay for Thor was amazing. I mean, just amazing. And a lot of the comics that he came up with, his run on Spider-Man, but also his original comics through his own imprint called Joe's Comics. And he's come up with so much stuff that could easily be television shows and or movies. And it's just amazing to me that the powers that be never really got into that. You know, and I'd like to ask him how close he came on some of his original ideas to putting that, before the general public, before he did Sense8.
Yeah. And we've only been talking about one episode. You see what we were doing? We're doing an hour and a half just on one episode.
Woo! Isn't that a good thing, though? Or do you want to wrap it up? Or what's planned?
No, I'm... Wow. I was just...
I don't know. I'm asking questions. Yeah, that's good.
I was actually going to text Mikey Spock and see whether or not she wanted to give me any insight I haven't seen. But I don't think she... Yeah, sorry.
You know what? If they hired me, I could really help that show get back on the track.
Yeah,
even with everything, even given, if they wanted to keep the show going, you give me 5 episodes, I could get that show back on track the way that it should be, as long as, Kurtzman and his friends are no longer working there. But I could do it.
Are you saying it's going to be 5 episodes of Spock rediscovering his heterosexuality?
They wouldn't even need Spock. I mean, the first thing I would do is undo a lot of the damage done to the original premise of Discovery and kind of get it back to what it originally was meant to be. And I would try to make Michael and get her back on track as a real character and get over this. So, all this super person stuff that they're attempting to do that makes no sense.
So you're saying she needs to slip on a piece of Gene Roddenberry out of an airlock?
I think there's a way to getting the character back into real Star Trek. There's a way to do that.
Yeah.
Keith, we can't have that. You need to help J. Michael Straczynski with the new Babylon 5.
Well, I think even J. Michael Straczynski could write everything going on in Star Trek right now because, again, he is, first and foremost, he is a self-confessed big Star Trek fan, classic Star Trek fan. And that's really where Babylon 5 comes out of, a love for the original Star Trek of William Shatner. And I would say this, if they were to announce tomorrow that Kurtzman is no longer running stuff and that they've installed JMS and JMS said, I've come up with a way to bring William Shatner back into this, I wouldn't care. Even if he wasn't playing Kirk, I would be beyond excited and accept whatever JMS threw out there.
Mm-hmm.
He actually did have an idea for a Star Trek series that Paramount rejected. He approached Paramount with a new Star Trek series idea. I'd say this would have been about 2002.
6? Oh.
2002, 2003.
Maybe.
And they completely rejected it.
Of course they did.
Well,
all right,
at that point in time, it wasn't. Sorry.
Go ahead.
At that point in time, it wasn't really a popular hot button topic, I guess. So.
Yeah. Well,
I guess it's predictable. Unfortunate, but predictable.
I think JMS agreed that with the idea that going backwards on the show was a big mistake. Enterprise.
Oh.
Enterprise was just the wrong direction. You should have kept going forward. And,
you mean you didn't want the temporal Cold War, Keith?
I don't think anybody really did, But because they went backwards and pissed off a few people, that's the reason why you got Battlestar Galactica. That is the reason.
Yeah. Now, we've been on this episode, and I hate cutting it short this one because we still got one more episode. Out of a scale of 5 Aunt Buseys, I'm giving it a 4.5. What about you, Kate?
4.
Hell yeah. What about you? Maybe?
I said 8, 4 is...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
80%. So, yeah.
80%. All right. And Keith?
4.
Memes?
8.
Is that a 5?
Also 4.
8.
Is that a 5?
Gave my answer earlier. Convert it however you would like.
I don't do math. What do you think this is?
It'd be a 4 also. So 4 is across the board.
Okay, I know. I just want to be a dick.
Relatively.
And you, Jeebus? Please don't sneeze.
4.
Hell yeah. We got 4s across the board. And the chat is kind of agreed. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 there. Hell yeah. Zach says the same. Yeah, fucking right. All right, guys. That's awesome. And with that, we're on to episode. Wait, that's the wrong episode. What the fuck's going on here? What the fuck is breaking this shit? Oh my god, what's happening?
See? This is why I'm always behind.
One chose donuts.
Donuts?
Why aren't you giving episode 4? What the fuck am I doing here? No, stop. Okay, stop playing. You're going to get me claimed by that Angry W beer. Bastard.
It's true.
The werebear?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the Karen haircut for the man right there.
Oh, a little bit. Little shaky 90s.
Yeah. Memes is using base 8. Stop using terminology. I have no idea what it's talking about here.
Some use base 12.
I don't understand math.
Zach says, sorry, Keith, you can't write black characters like Kurtzman. What? You
I
don't
know.
write.
Trolled.
You don't write. You just copy other people's work. What are you talking about?
You know what?
So-
You're probably right. I cannot write black characters like Kurtzman. You know.
Well, it's because you're not eating enough black food. We've already seen what
Well,
happened.
I
at the
haven't.
Luther.
Well, I haven't sold my soul to the devil. So
No.
Yeah.
You need to eat more black food and have more black friends like Luther. Then you'll be more black to the right. You know, that's how it
We're
works.
all
I've
going to
got,
hell.
I've got a hell of a lot more black
Yeah.
friends than even Alex Kurtzman. And the thing about it is, Alex Kurtzman is just, well, I'm not going to say that, but.
Yeah, he's a piece of work.
So the
Anyway.
Brotherhood. The
Oh,
Brotherhood.
wow. We're going down terminologies
Yeah.
I won't even use.
So,
Next thing you'll say,
these
Keith is
monk
black.
guys on Babylon 5, they have a friend of theirs who starts having a bad time.
Yeah, he gets all these creepy dreams and stuff, and these things are falling out of his man bag that apparently he didn't remember, but apparently
called
they
a
start
merce,
making
sir.
sense. It's all right. Well, we're not right that formal here, Kate.
It's called a Babble Pack.
I know.
Get it right. It's like a fanny
Oh.
pack.
It's your
Have you
Babble
seen
Pack?
my Babble Pack? I lost it in the Meridian down there at the food court. Why am I
Oh my
talking
God.
like that?
Because you're a crazy
It's a-
person.
Oh, so it's a merce.
Well, okay.
A
Yeah,
merce.
that's the real term.
Yeah,
for it.
it's a mummers. Yes, that's it.
Mancurs.
But before we get into this episode opens up with a Vorlon ship arriving. It's Kosh's ship, and with Kosh, we see the return of Patricia Tallman's character Lyta Alexander, who has not only been on the Vorlon homeworld, but can't even talk about it. But she spent 5 days in space after she gave all of her life savings to get that shuttle, the 5 days of air and food and water, whatever else, to sit there. Just as that air ran out, she woke up on the Vorlon homeworld. We don't know what happened since, but she is no longer Psycor. She works for Kosh. She is Kosh's associate or intern, if you want to call it. But there's more going on, and that shit just grabs you. Like grandma trying to kiss you at Christmas. It's fucking
So they're married now.
No.
No. I mean,
no.
Are you sure? I don't know. I don't know. By
yeah.
the end of this episode, you see some certain stuff.
Oh,
and
I
things
totally
going
can
on.
see where you'd think that, but no.
They're
And
giving
Keith-
star kisses. I thought.
And Keith had to go for a family situation. I do apologize. Thank you for being here, Kate. Keith, oh my God, my words and my brain are not working today. I hope everything's okay, Keith. And we are definitely on a path through something because I forgot Gethsemane. Is that right? Gethsemane. Gethsemane? Is that about right?
I think it's Gethsemane. Gethsemane.
I'm having a stutter right there.
I don't speak biblical things well either, so it's all good.
Abraham is hard to spell. The great Brad Dourif. Now we know what happened to Peter DeVries after Dune.
Chucky.
Yes.
Oh, but the brothers are going through some stuff, and what was the other plot point in the episode? Because essentially there ends up being Patricia comes back, and she's on there, and then they start talking about what was it? The guy that ends up getting convicted rather than the death penalty. They do a mind wipe, so all of a sudden they just completely delete who you were, and then basically install someone else. And that plays a very important part in the episode.
All right. Thank you for the Hooked on Phonics in the chat, guys. I love it. We got Gethsemane, and we have Gethsemane.
It's Gethsemane. You were right pretty much the first time.
I've got it. And she is Kosh's Veer. That is true, but it's also something more.
Wait a second. You're saying Londo and V?
No, you are, you weirdo. I love this part though. I think this is hilarious that they open up with chess and it's like super intense and like he's not going to win, you know. And then they quote Delenn. It's adorable. I love this part. Like the intro.
But he's also his artwork with the crystal creatures is actually the crystal animals is pretty cool too. I like that.
Yeah,
and
it is.
You got
cool.
Brother Vance just sitting there going, he's my brother. Don't mind him. But this is very kind of religious oriented, especially with these people that have asked to live on the station, whether it be in the lower sectors. But they want to know their whole thing is learning about all of the different interpretations of god, as they would say, or gods within different alien races, not just the human race. It starts opening that we've reached a point in human civilization with certain aspects where we are so open-minded that it's no longer looking at accepting just our world's religions and views, but otherworldly religions and views and imagery. And these people are pretty much it. And they're wearing monk cloaks, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
Didn't they also more or less say they were the Illuminati back in the day?
I don't. I thought these guys were like the same.
They illuminated manuscripts. I don't know. Maybe.
They
I apologize.
Transcribed manuscripts, and they do that digitally for income. They do people's bookkeeping essentially and whatnot. So, and they come in handy throughout the season and series.
Yeah, I agree. And this guy, we don't know it at first, but this guy starts seeing like weird imagery, weird threats and stuff in blood and hearing whispers, but it's all connected, and we'll find out later through this episode. Meanwhile, we have Lyta just roaming free reign on the station, who only answers to Kosh, but is willing to do anything that is now outside the Psi Corps rules and regulations, because she ain't Psi Corps, and she's not afraid of Psi Corps either. Like, people are mentioning Psi Corps, you got Londo in there, but like, hey, I would, but like, I'd hate if the Psi Corps found out. I'd be like, I will turn your brain into mud.
Yeah, but the way she threatens him and walks away is all, tough and stuff, but then he's like, nightmares. If only you knew. It's like, oh, this poor dude is so screwed.
But Franklin does a whole, look, this is him yelling at the wall, like most of us on YouTube.
He's saying it was there. He's saying it was right there, and he's starting to panic and is confused.
But when Lyta comes back, and after Franklin does the medical examination, it also shows that not only is she at perfect health for the most in any time of her lifetime, things that don't usually heal over time are now magically gone. And it's giving him a little bit of like this curiosity and be like, how is all this shit healed all of a sudden? And what happened on that planet? And she is sworn to secrecy. She cannot say shit. And it opens up this new layered novel of how mysterious the Vorlon have made themselves, but how secretive they are, of how giving too much tech to any type of race or too much knowledge or answers can totally fuck up the evolution of a younger species.
Yeah.
And it's delivered in that mysterious aspect, like choose your own adventure. I love it. And then you got here, dude, just yelling at the wall, going, "Where did it go? He was right here. I just saw it earlier." I love his acting in this.
Yeah, he's an actor.
Yeah. Death walks among you. Yeah, that's pretty much every time I'm naked in front of a window. Sorry. Awkward silence brought to you by Steven Seagal. Betazoid, I wouldn't know much, but anyone else have anything to add? I talk too much.
No, you don't. You're fine. You obviously know more than I do, so it's inevitable.
I just watched.
I just interrupt.
You're not interrupting. It's not Among Us. Not at all. No, not that game. No.
So he goes and talks to Garibaldi first, though, instead of his boss guy, because he has no idea what's going on and feels threatened. She just gives no fuck.
She is like, "I'll fuck you up." She's like, "We used to be good friends." I'm like, "I don't even know you. I don't know what you're talking about." She's even giving the same thing with Franklin. I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? Herniated disc?
Well,
I don't.
Yeah, no, she had a acute appendicitis that was cured, and that generally probably is something that has to be removed. One thing I thought was funny, because it's it's from my perspective. When Franklin points out, "Well, your oxygen levels are really high," it's like, okay, technically speaking, natural redheads have higher levels of oxygen in their blood. That is a scientific fact. So is it higher than that high, or what the hell are you talking about here?
I don't know. Mr. Checo Trunk, thank you. Remember, says, "Death walks among you. When Stefan eats too much broccoli, don't want." Fuck off.
No, it's not as bad. It's usually when you're on a more carnivorous diet.
Oh,
that
yeah.
you need to watch out for.
Oh, yeah.
But
you get away from your
is that
cotton
true?
balls.
Was Dr. Franklin being like, I don't know, gingerphobic?
No, I think he
I
was
just
actually
think it's-
surprised.
Yeah, I think it's something that they just didn't know, and they wrote in there. It's like as a
Oh.
add-on. It's just a funny thing. Like my brother had to have teeth removed multiple times in his life, so he knew that at a young age, because we react differently to anesthesia. So
Yeah. She's also not just dealing with anesthesia. She's also dealing with the fact that she has a type of what was the word, amnesia, because the Vorlons have this ability to block neural pathways from memories, and you can see it in her face. It's not that she's like robotic, but she's very unassimilated to gossip, as it would be on the station between everyone else.
She's focused.
Yeah, she is.
She's keeping herself from like reading everyone all the time.
Is that what happens when you die and you're resurrected by the Vorlons?
You become cold and bitter. No, I'm kidding.
I don't know. I just assumed that from the gills.
Yeah, that part confused the fuck out of me. I didn't understand that. But, whatever. It's okay.
But
reminds me of Godzilla's gills, so she's a scaly.
Maybe. We don't know. We don't even know if that bodysuit's still hers, because it's just...
Ooh.
This episode was not as good as the first one, but it was good in another underlying factor. We're showing the convictions of how much you can go through to repent or learn of repentance because of your previous actions. But how can you repent something if you know nothing of your previous actions? And that's where it had this weird paradoxical effect.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I don't know what happened, yet I'm getting images of stuff that done happen. And it means, like, how is it? How could you be in a life where you're living as someone else, but not knowing, but yet being haunted by the person you used to be? And that's freaky.
But doesn't that happen to people like normally?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, people with amnesia.
Yeah, that too. But it's like
people that may have lived another life. I don't know.
Yep. I mean, people change careers, and then you have your old career creep up on you in some unpleasant way, and then threaten your new career. And that's a thing that can happen even without it being super violent. And that's the crazy part. And I think it's interesting that they, to me at least, I get a lot of like Manson family nods in this, which I think is kind of fun. But because I'm a weirdo.
I totally love this episode. I give it a 10.
I like it too. I like this one too.
No, the ending made it a 10 for me, just because whoa, they totally did that. I'm like, that's totally what you should have done there. Well played.
I think we're also getting a hint of some of the history and knowledge and the whole. We're getting little edges of the whole Valen and who Valen, who it is. He was of Membar, but he wasn't of Membar.
He's a Membar, not born of Membari.
Yeah,
Membari,
but you're seeing that like,
Membari.
And then you're getting this hint of like, who could it be?
And I love how Delenn describes their faith, and it's pretty much just yoga. It literally is. It's like you are of the universe and expanding and understanding yourself as part of the universe, and then thus the whole universe all at once. It's so perfect. I love her.
We are star stuff.
Yeah.
And you can see that like the subtle excitement from Lanier when he starts talking about Valen. And she's like, dude, shut the fuck up. We gotta go. He's already done the interview.
Now, Lemire. We've gone too far.
But it shows the pride in how Valen has affected the race. Like they said, it got rid of the war between their peoples. It made the Great Council. It started creating this structure of not just society, but of acceptance between different castes and how they can all work as one. And it was and it's not of Membar. It makes you wonder, like, who could have such an effect on a planet that isn't of their planet? And you just start going, wow, I gotta hear more about this Valen person. I love it. Well, he is a fanboy. Yeah, he is. Not Lemire, it's Lanier. Lanier. Is it Lemire?
No, it's Lanier. It's Lanier.
Lemire.
L-E-N-N-E-R.
I don't speak Mumberry.
Oh my. She's not part fish.
No. That part was weird. I got confused, but I just let it go.
We don't know she's not a fish.
I guess that's true also.
Space fish.
It's not. It's not.
Isn't that why we have like the Jesus fish?
Oh
You
no,
see the
that's not why
fish?
there's no. The Jesus fish is there because it was it was a metaphor for something related to Jesus that fish ate in particular. So it was symbolic and secretive.
I
So
thought it was
prosecution.
feed a man a fish, he eats for a day, like teach a man
No,
to fish,
not
he
that.
eats for a
But
lifetime.
no, it's like
another
it's a
fish.
specific. Yeah, no, it's a specific.
Because of the whale, that's a mammal.
No, it was
ma'am.
No,
It's a mammal.
That's Gail Simone.
No, that's a bridge too far.
What?
You said whale. That's Gail Simone.
I think that's a human. Bless you.
Ew.
Babblefish.
Babblefish.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Mm.
But we're showing this pretty much a convict that's had his memory wiped, given a new persona, a new like direction in life. It's pretty much learning about religions, being accepted in, and not living for the atonement of your crimes. Now, the question is, do you believe in that type of treatment?
It's interesting concept versus like they very gently brush upon capital punishment and then use this as a replacement. And it's like, well, I understand how this could be very practical until you encounter this scenario in which the person who had been wiped is then manipulated in a very unpleasant way and found out by the people they were supposed to be kept away from. So it seems that this whole monk group kind of does this deliberately, like this is a go-to, and what's what makes it smart. But then inevitably things will go wrong eventually, and here we are.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, as far as philosophical questions, I don't know how deep you want to go down that rabbit hole. We might be here for 3 hours.
Man, that's okay. This show comes first, I will say. Fan Squash says, Steven, it's the perfect combo of capital punishment and rehabilitation.
It is. It's very
save the body. But that's the thing, though. If you're killing the killer, how is it that those walls can be broken so fast and so easily by another telepath? It's not actually punishment. If the punishment would have been to make them relive the horrors they caused without making them know what they actually did, only the emotional presences. I think they would have had a better effect if they were going to come for vengeance on this person.
Yeah.
Well, part of it is because he actually did the research too to like fill in the gaps. Because it could be like you're reawakening part of somebody that they were, so they're getting certain memories, and then it's like, oh yeah, you have modern technology, so you can actually search and like find all the documents and the videos and stuff. Literally seeing yourself, be like, oh my god, I am completely a different person. But and again, I like Kate was saying, it's like I like how they touch upon it without being pushy. Here's the story. We're playing it out. We're not preaching to you.
Yeah, I mean, like they just lay out a very common, analogy, and that's fine, and they just let it go and move on from there, and then present a completely unique, unattainable philosophical question with wiping someone's personality and replacing it strategically. Can that be a practical thing to do? Because realistically, people change drastically over a decade regardless. Sometimes it's on purpose, sometimes it just happens, sometimes it's external, sometimes it's internal, and it's just how do you argue with that metaphorically? So that's it's interesting.
I also really do respect the whole conflict within this man. He eventually starts realizing what he's done as that previous persona, and then he starts realizing that all the things he's been doing now with Brother Vance and all the learnings of religion and acceptance and how God judges you, how can God judge me if I can't even see what I've done to be judged against? It's like, yeah, you're right, you're literally being put up against past choices. Like when we're watching how like Hollywood people are attacked for previous posts on Twitter, it's the same thing. But this man's having a question not only of character, but he has now 2 characters within one. He has his past character that has caused not only death and sadness and everything else, is that he now is walking around as this blank slate without realization that he might be judged upon death and into the gates of heaven or whatever he believes in on pretenses he has no knowledge about.
Well,
and that's kind of, it's unfair yet not unfair at the same time.
It's not.
This is
I mean,
an
if
opinion.
he's
This is an
no,
opinion.
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if he's a true believer, then it knows he's forgiven, and that's how that works.
But he's actually questioning that. Though.
He's starting to question it because he doesn't know because he can't remember what he once thought. Therefore, he doesn't know which is the sincere thoughts.
But he doesn't. The same time is we never see him be told, like, he doesn't know why he did it. We're never given that as an actual audience, as well as the character we're following. We never know why he did it.
But we never.
Or maybe
really
I missed that.
But I think that's part of the point, though. Is like you never know why a bad, crazy person is like that. Like unless you know them personally, and you were unfortunately a victim in some capacity, you never know, and it's hard to pontificate.
Well, in the end, he answers the question that they actually had asked at the beginning. It's like,
yes,
would I actually stick around knowing that it's like, you stay here right now, you will die? He did.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that also stress a light on that he is a true believer and what it is he is believing. Therefore, he is forgiven for a past he forgot and the past he remembers.
Oh, the father threw so many Hail Marys at him and everything. At that point, I'm just like, all right, I'm like, wait a second, you can do that? Oh, so you're essentially the Pope, too.
He goes, I'm everything in space.
No, he literally said, by the power vested in me as blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I was not expecting that part. I'm like, all right, well, either the ceremony, it's all right. Oh, and then the end. Then the end there, it's like, hi, this is brother, and it's like,
I know, right?
The captain was just saying how forgiveness is so important. I'm like, oh, you totally went there. That was so good.
It's weird because you get Zach, because you get Zach, who hasn't really done anything but step up, being like, dude, you need to chill the fuck out. I might be Night Watch, but you need to chill the fuck out. Like, you just go over there, have a Shirley Temple. I'll handle this. Take him to the brig, and we're done. It's just like, I think that's also the moment where Sheridan starts realizing that he can't keep acting on emotion. He has to.
He's a hothead.
I don't think he's a hothead. I think he's very judgmental and emotionally attached and acting out when it comes to the hypocrisy of people.
Oh, he's judgmental. I don't know if that's necessarily something that's an emotional reaction. However, I think it's because he wants things to be organized.
He likes seeing justice be done.
Yeah,
and in his mind, it's like, all right, you should have been tried and everything. But in this case, it's like, all right, you got your own psychic there and everything. So you just got Patty to do the whole mind wipe and everything. Boom. He's come to us under bizarre circumstances, but welcome. But I've always wanted to serve.
But I agree, but we have to look at it this way at the same time. This is opening up when they first have their interactions, how he hands that crystal, that crystal crane, and Sheridan is blown away by the beauty. And then when we start going through this episode and progressing through and realizing that this man was once a murderer of women, we are seeing that even with the treatment that was chosen or the judgment that was given, that even within the darkest of souls and the darkest of actions, beauty can still exist and be created within those individuals.
Dude, seriously, have you ever listened to Manson's music? He was great. He was an amazing guitarist. And it's like,
No.
Okay, I'm a weird.
You're what, Marilyn Manson or Charles Manson?
Charles Manson.
No, I wasn't really one of my top 10 things on my playlist. Like, listen to the greatest tunes of Charles Manson. 1, cause a swastika in your head. Number 2,
well, even
I
Marilyn
like brownies
Manson
and
got canceled
sex.
now because of the stuff that he
let's not go too far into that one now.
Yeah, he should have never had a career. He's a one-hit wonder at the very best. But my point is that that is a very good point that you're making, and it happened in real life, and that's why I kind of started to come to the conclusion that they're pulling from historical events, making this with the blood on the wall and the artisticness and it's just crazy.
Chicotron quickly says, Kate talking about Charles Manson and giggling is haunting. I guess. I'm just happy they didn't go down the trope and try to make it look like a Jesus rebirth within this character.
Right.
Like they attributed stories that, especially with this man in general, like the attributes of the stories of what he's learned, and he then is putting him on himself on this pedestal. Like he could just run away from his nightmares, his past, these things haunting him, but he didn't. He stood his ground and tried to find truth within the answers. And you even see that later on, where like Wikipedia record shows that he's actually dig the files of those court cases and the Earth Force news and the camera footage, but he did not run away, nor did he give into whatever was being broken down by this Centauri psychic or telepath that was trying to push the buttons. And eventually all this hysteria that people couldn't find influence or evidence of is starting to show with Garibaldi's insight and how he digs in. This man has not only, like, he's traveling this road of retribution and revelation. He's going down a road of choosing what self to be while accepting the self he has been. And that is a hard road for any of us to even in this day to accept, because a lot of us can think about the choices we've made and circumstances we've been in the past, and we'll have a flashback or a thought of like that. And either we'll get the shivers and the hair of our neck standing up, or we'll shake our head subconsciously in a physically manner, be like, no, I don't want to think about that anymore. But he's doing this in real time. And he's not giving up. He is pushing through to see whether or not the judgment that he gives himself and the judgment that others will eventually give him atone for the things he's done. Maybe that's just the way I'm seeing it.
Yeah, I would certainly think, since he does achieve what he thought he could not achieve, is that he is very representational of showing himself grace, which is something people never. It's very difficult to learn to do. We're always very gracious with people's mistakes. We're never gracious with our own mistakes.
No, because it feels like we're fucked up, and we get like that kind of weird insecurity kind of vibe, like, oh fuck, did I really do that? But that's the thing, that we're always gonna make mistakes. That's the problem. We're not perfect beings. And I like he's a lesson within himself. Whoever wrote this character and wrote the actions and the words and the script for him, like they fucking put humanity into him in a way that humanity doesn't always like looking at.
Yeah. It's a tough lesson, but it's done very beautifully and in a creative way that makes it attainable and unique. So it's like it's still theoretical enough for people to have a conversation without stepping on toes for the individual faiths and such.
Jesterson says, "Can't have darkness without light. Light. I likewise distrust anyone that claims to be nothing but light." That's true. With every light cast, there's always shadow.
Yeah.
Do you realize what it's like to wake up and realize you're a monster? No, you were a monster. That's the thing. I think that's the pretense that I think they've forgotten that sentence, is like he was a monster. He sees that, but he's like you're yin and yang, but in an interpersonal level, your conscious level. Come on, memes and monkey, jump in. I feel like I've been like, do you believe in the world of John the Vance and the Babylon 5?
What? You're talking about Vorlon underpants? Well, I mean, you need it in the suit. I guess it could get a little dank. Wait, what?
What? I'm so confused. Monkey said.
I already gave this episode a 10.
Yeah, I like this one. I'd say it's a 9. I know to some people this, metaphysical value judgment stuff gets boring, but I love this kind of crap.
Memes, get that in. What do you think of this episode? Not just the rating, but how you enjoyed this. Like, you've been very quiet.
This was beautiful. All I know is just going throughout the episode, it's like, all right, you're just playing it out. I'm like, all right, it's fairly quiet and everything. And then it just keeps on going on and going on. It's like, all right, well, you had like, basically Sheridan, it's like people were effing with him, people were effing with his mind and stuff like that. It's like, oh, well, these were just projections. There wasn't actually anything here, except in this particular case, it was a similar thing, and just assuming that, okay, maybe it was just that these things were actually happening. People were actually effing with him. We're just writing all that stuff on the wall that later disappears and everything, and just having the psychic just basically start to just reawaken all these thoughts and everything in him. And then just when you go through at the end, it's like, all right, yeah, no, it was getting kind of a little bit religious there. But again, it really wasn't preachy. It's like, here's a man that literally was a mass murderer and everything. He literally was one of the first people that they did this to. Here's the actual guy that this happened to. All of a sudden, he starts like becoming like this person again. And it's like, all right, all of a sudden these people are here. And you got another kind of crazy guy that ends up killing him, totally admitting to it. So then he takes his place. And I'm like, it's literally come full circle. That's why I give it a 10.
But what bothers me is like, can I ask this a question? This doesn't bother me. Hey, awesome one, nice to see you here. But I have a question. This goes to everyone here. I want to ask this, whether you're chatting the panel. Was anyone at least thinking, if you're a first time watching this or you don't remember all the episodes, you're waiting to see like a moment where he's arguing with his murderous self, like in the mirror, and you were expecting that type of kind of Shakespearean, like, you know what I mean? Like, and then you didn't get it, and it was like,
the
wow.
Smeagol and Gollum?
Yeah, but then they didn't. Yeah, like how? Yeah, Gollum and Smeagol are constantly like talking within the third person of oneself. But yeah, I was a little still feeling that, even though I knew it wasn't there because I've seen this before. I was kind of always like in my pit, feeling like it was going to happen again. Like you were going to see, like he's looking at the reflection in the mirror, going, "Am I as evil as I am?" And you see like the evil version of himself answering back, going, "Well, fuck yeah, you are." But you never got that.
Like Charles Lee, right?
Yeah.
I think they were going for more realism. Yes,
yeah,
I realize sci-fi show.
I do think they kind of allude to that with the illusions and delusions and manipulations. I think the part where he's running from the intercom voices, because they're the voices mimicking what he had done. It was kind of doing that, but it's obvious. You find out that it was faked and they're trying to screw with him. So then it's like, well, it's not really happening. But then people would do that to someone. So
that's like super trolling. That's like trolling with every ounce of technology you can get your hands on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they were really hurt. Their family members were murdered by him.
Yeah.
But they were only women. Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Like, that's the other underlying tone we have in this was like, how far will you go for vengeance to become the thing that took that thing away from you? And like Mike said, full circle. You have literally contributed to making another murderer. Just because, if we're coming from the Dexter perspective, right? Mass murder that kills other mass fucking murderers, right? Or serial killers. So, is he still a serial killer, or is he just someone of an anti-hero? This man's not an anti-hero, but he's still finding the truth within.
One of the reasons I give this a 10 out of 10. Now, was it Sheridan and the father that they were saying it's like, at what point is vengeance justice and justice vengeance? So it reminded me of like the Tendo Pain speech from Naruto, where it's like, well, how are you going to fix the world? Well, once I get out of here, I'm going to kill you. He's like, oh, that would be justice, wouldn't it? It's like, well, what do you mean? It's like, what about my pain, my family, my village? And all of a sudden, he's basically explaining to Naruto, it's like, yeah, what I just did to your village, you guys basically did to me by waging war on like these smaller nations for all this time. And then it gets to the point with, so Naruto, how will you solve this problem? And he's like, I don't know. That's the deep thing. It's very easy to just be in the hurrah, and then when you actually see the total effects of your acts, because here's the thing, it's like, we're just independent observers. We're only human beings. We're perfectly imperfect creatures. We only have the capacity to understand what's going on just in a very basic respect. That's why you got like almost 8 billion other folks around the world that have their own perspective.
Come again?
Go ahead, Jude.
It would have been funny if Naruto turned into a giant joint.
I mean, I'm sure there's a meme or something of that. He normally turns into a fox.
Well, it also shows the fact that you can either, well, like, we're not looking at this, the criminal in question right now. We're looking at the people who literally hired this Centauri telepath, and the people that are still trying to deal with that vengeance and have spent years looking for him. How far are you willing to go within a mob mentality that you have not only lost yourself, that you have become, let's say, possessed by the nine-tails beast, and you're just acting on emotion and instinct rather than the conscious fact that the inevitable of being an adult or a better person is letting it go and realizing that people and things can change over time. Forgiveness is the hardest thing to sometimes do day to day. It could take one thing slighting you or one thing going unfair in your favor or someone else's favor that you care about or respect, and you start going down this road where the only thing you see is the target that cause something negative. And that will absorb you. It will control you. It will take over to the point where you forget who you were at the beginning.
You focus so much on just an idol and tearing it down.
Yeah. It's like tearing down that one statue, but that one statue is enough. Let's take 2020 as a prime example. They tore down not just one, but many statues to not only get over the fact that when you look at a statue, it gives you an uncomfortable history, but history is supposed to make you feel uncomfortable because it's supposed to make you learn and not repeat the same mistakes. Yet, he is not repeating his same mistakes. He is trying to learn from them by learning of what self he was and making sure whether or not his penance or his penance, whatever the word, I can't say it correctly,
Penance.
Penance is worthwhile enough for forgiveness. And before I let anyone answer this quickly and bring it in, Tickle Trunk with a $5 super chat says, memes with the strong arm, a very important point. Some of the best sci-fi doesn't tell you what to think. The episode lets you come to your own conclusions, and that also falls into the lines of Star Trek. Star Trek never had to throw things in your face. It gave you the opportunity to think and rewatch to find things to make you think. That is the brilliance of talking and having creative writing.
And that's the whole point of what we're doing right now, because we can each observe the episode.
I'm whispering too. I'm actually
point.
coming into I'm sorry, I'm getting that whispering effect. I'm like, and while presenting you with something complex comes in the eye of the beholder, beauty in the eye of the beholder, thought in the eye of the beholder. You have the ability to not only see your own opinion, your own bias, your own decisions, your own choices, whether it be in a show, a book, a novel, a picture, but you also have the ability to respect another's. And we have lost that with certain societal facts or certain aspects of how we social media in its generalization, how we YouTube, how we Twitch. And that is an art form. It is the art form of respect, the art form of listening, the art form of discussion. And it doesn't need a TV show. It can just be a simple phrase and how people predict it and how people understand it and deliver it back, like the game of telephone. And with that, Trump, sorry, mic drop. I guess it's a mic drop. Someone clip that later for me because I forget this shit. That philosophical try to talk in a whisper was brought to you by Molson Canadian. We do something up here right with beer. Philosophical.
Stevens ASMR.
Philosophy. And with that, I'm gonna.
お前はやっぱり気に食わない。
And we all get a victory for respecting other people's opinion, and then we're going to go with that.
You couldn't lead a monkey to a banana raffle. A leader needs funny catchphrases like, take it.
That was so beautiful. I needed to smoke. Smoking is wrong.
No, but I'm saying like beer. Yes, beer. But like that's the thing, though. Like we have 19 people here just listening or just having us in the background, but everyone remembers something about that. And this show, like it delivers, like not this show, this episode within itself. This guy, this one monk who's been wiped clean and given a second chance, but it's not good enough for other people who have lost so much. When they've been given a second chance to understand forgiveness, it's just been drowned in vengeance. And I don't see how people can go through life constantly picking one thing, one person, one time, and just trying to take everything away from it to think it will cause what's the word when you want to get over things, when you want closure. It doesn't always lead to closure.
Well, they're not looking for closure. They're looking for validation from other things instead of themselves.
Or vengeance.
And vengeance is a thing. Like that can get people
All right.
that sometimes.
And with that, I think we should start wrapping up this episode and doing ratings memes. How long do you have, Catharsis?
Like 7.
Like 7 minutes or 7 seconds?
I mean, I'll give you more than 7 seconds. I can't promise much more.
Okay. Vengeance is its own kind of sacrifice. They don't want closure. They don't want closure, more revenge. But that doesn't. Yeah, and they end up becoming the thing that they were going against. Because how do you know this guy doesn't have family and they're eventually? It's like an ongoing cycle. It's like the circle that never breaks.
Pain cycle of hatred.
Yeah, and if you see that, like you can even see that within YouTube. You can see that within a video. And I'm not saying everyone or everyone we know does it. It can be outside forces. It's just You get there's
It's incentivized. This is the system that is set up right now. This is what happens to be profitable right now. It feels so good getting that jab in there and everything there and trying to destroy metaphorically or. And I mean, well, but this is the thing. It's like, cause this is one of the reasons why I started doing YouTube. I'm like, I can do this, and I saw people just going around just being really mean. I'm like, it's I mean, I can do that. I'm very good at doing that, but it's just to what end is it? You're just promoting more hatred and everything. Just like troll people.
But I want to add something to that memes. I want everyone to realize this quickly too. You can do this. You can have criticism. You can give your objective opinion about a person or their actions or about a topic or a subject here and there, but that doesn't mean it's harassment. It doesn't mean you're bullying. It doesn't mean you're attacking. And if you're giving an objectified anything towards a situation or trying to have a discussion about it, and people are automatically thinking that you're just going after the individual or the group or this or that, you know what it means? It means that the person on the opposite end that is listening, they're not fucking listening. They're not. They're only taking the words and reconstructing it as a sentence or an attack or something they can vilify as a victimization or a way to cover up their own insecurity rather than understanding that criticism is supposed to make you not only feel better about yourself, but also make you think that maybe you're not being as good as you think you are, or you're being as bad as you are. There's so much different perceptions, and the perceptions, whether it be a tensor theory or a mimetic theory, as memes have said in the past and present, a simple word can have many attachments and many disassociations because it's all based on the bias of the brain and the person who is understanding or not understanding. It's a wide range.
And a lot of it goes, I tend to think you could say most whatever you want generally, but it's also how you say it as well, how you're coming off. And I think where we kind of get confused sometimes is we might not like a particular series or something like that, or like, oh, this particular sequence. Even Keith will say, he's like, you know what, this particular movie, not the greatest B5 out there, and that's totally fine. But when you're going to criticize it, be very specific about how it was laid out, because very often you might criticize how a character was acting in a particular scene, but then very often it just devolves into, I'm listing the actor name was bad or something like that. So at that point, you've crossed over from I'm criticizing the series to now I'm just referring to the actor themselves and saying this was bad, where you don't know what the screen was writing, you don't know what the director was telling them. Maybe that's what they were supposed to do. Maybe they could have done that scene much better had they had more freedom. Maybe their hands were tied. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they were having a bad day. Maybe they were fornicating on the Batmobile. I don't know these things.
Circumstantial situations, because it's the same thing as circumstantial
Oh, you almost said.
But you know what I mean. So not circumcision evidence. Nice try, memes. Shut the fuck up.
All right, resemble that remark.
Yeah, I know. I love you too. We're at the point now. Lord Thoth, have a good one if you have to go. But
bye.
Adaptation of thought is the respect of decision and discussion. I know I would say that a lot, but like honestly, respect thy fucking neighbor, respect their opinion, and you know what? You don't have to fucking like it, but it doesn't mean you have to belittle them for it. And this is, I think, this is like a light pretense of what this is. Yeah, the guy was a murderer, but at the same time, he tried to look for forgiveness on the things he did not know about himself and accepted whatever came his way. And this man now, who has been refitted for his choices, right here, the man who has literally beaten that man and hung him to a cross in the lower decks, he's now on his road to retribution. Who knows who will come down the road for him? We don't know whether it'll be a vengeful person or mob. It might be just one day stepping out in the airlock exploding on him. You'll never know. But that's the brilliance. He is given a mind wipe and a second chance, and that person no longer exists. So if that person no longer exists, do we still brand him and punish him for that person that no longer exists?
I mean, this is what made the episode for me. Just because it's like, all right, here's the dude that needs to have justice done upon him. And then you get into the whole just conflict of like justice, vengeance. It's like, all right, you went through the system. Oh, the cap, because he's holding out his hands. Like, why is the captain hesitant? The captain was just saying. And it's like, oh, he just completely threw it into your face, Captain. All right, you know what to do.
And I think we're going to leave it on that. This show gets a high mark for memes, a probably good mark for everyone else. Kate, what do you give this?
I said 8.
And Monkey?
9, 8 or 9, 8.5.
Okay, Monkey.
8.
8. I give this a 9 and a 0.5 for the weird whispering talk of philosophy I just got into right now because I don't get that much. But it's like, I want to. The 0.5 actually goes to the chat for sticking around. I know Keith had to leave, but you guys giving your opinions, your knowledge, your history, everything towards it, the 0.5 gets added onto every episode because you guys make it a whole lot better. The idea that mind wipes fucking exist is fucking horrifying, but we are reaching a point where technology could reach that. We actually thought we could change mental disease by shocking people to the point where they're drooling on themselves and we can call them Mr. Potato Head.
Yep.
It's not far gone, and we're in that cycle of repeating the worst things in history.
Behavior modification.
So some of that stuff still exists.
And Tickle Trunk, I see yours. I want to thank you, chat. Coming here every week, making the show what it is, sharing it out. Whether you're a member or a subscriber, you're super chatting, you're not super chatting, you're making jokes, you're making memes. Like you guys make it. I want to thank my panel. Whether you had to leave early, couldn't make it today, you'll be there next week. You guys are great. I want to thank my mods for having to go. Why won't he shut the fuck up and end the show already? I want to thank all of you for thinking that too.
I love you all. Peace out.
Peace, memes. And with that, you all have a great day. Remember, you got to wake up and go to sleep with yourself every night. Treat yourself. Accept yourself. You're not perfect. And with that, go out and have some fun. And wherever channel you head up next, tell them fucking Fat Steven sent you. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time. I'm fucking hungry. And we're out.
See the sun light up the sky, so I hit the road in overdrive, baby. Oh,
fuck you, Chickle. Fuck you.
Try not to.
I can see clearly when you go on, and I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. I said, ooh, I'm drowning in the night. Oh, when I'm like this, you're the one I trust.
And remember, next week we got episode 5 and 6. Ladies and gentlemen, season 3 of 5 and 6. I'll probably post the titles in the community tab because Memes knows HBO is effed up. I love you all. Have a great day. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for supporting me and everyone here. We've come a long way, and I plan to go a lot farther. Back to the buffet. Oh, we're still live. Shit, I forgot